Imagine a timeline where the Nine Tails isn't the only darkness lurking within. What if Naruto Uzumaki inherited not just the will of fire, but the shattered soul of Ichigo Kurosaki? We're unlocking a forbidden fusion of chakra and reiatsu that changes everything. Prepare for the ultimate shonen crossover.
The forbidden scroll was heavier than Naruto expected. He'd stolen it from the Hokage's vault with surprising ease. Too easy, really, but he didn't question it. His heart pounded as he ran through the darkened forest outside Konoha, clutching the massive scroll against his chest. Mizuki-sensei had promised that learning even one jutsu from it would prove Naruto deserved to graduate. That was all he wanted. Recognition, acceptance, a chance to be more than the dead last. He found a clearing beneath ancient trees and unrolled the scroll across the grass. Moonlight filtered through the canopy, illuminating strange symbols and techniques that made his eyes hurt just looking at them. Multi-shadow clone jutsu, flying thunder god technique, dead demon consuming seal. Names that sounded powerful and terrifying. But as Naruto's fingers traced the characters, something else happened. His vision blurred. Pain lanced through his skull like someone had driven a spike between his eyes. He gasped, clutching his head as fragmented images crashed into his consciousness like waves against rocks. A massive blade wrapped in white cloth, a city made of white buildings and impossible architecture, monsters with hollow eyes and bone-white masks, a black katana that felt like an extension of his soul. The name echoed in his mind like thunder. Zangetsu. Naruto's breathing quickened. These weren't his memories. They couldn't be. He'd never held a sword, never fought creatures that dissolved into spiritual particles, never stood atop buildings in a city called Karakura Town. Yet the memories felt real, more real than anything he'd experienced in his 12 years of life. He saw himself. No, saw someone else who looked different but felt identical. A young man with orange hair and brown eyes, wearing a black robe and wielding a blade as tall as himself. The young man fought with brutal efficiency, protecting people with a determination that burned like fire in his chest. He refused to give up, refused to let anyone die, refused to accept any outcome that didn't end with everyone going home alive. I am Ichigo Kurosaki, and I will protect everyone. The words resonated in Naruto's soul like a bell that had always been there, waiting to be rung. No, Naruto whispered, clutching the scroll tighter. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. I'm going to be Hokage, Dadabayo. I'm going to make everyone acknowledge me. I already acknowledged you, King. The voice came from within, deep and powerful, mixed with something ancient and resigned. It wasn't the Nine Tails. Naruto knew that hateful, bubbling rage that sometimes leaked into his thoughts. This was different. This felt like himself, like the person he'd always been meant to become. The memories didn't fade. They settled into place like puzzle pieces he hadn't known were missing. He remembered training with a wooden sword in a shop owned by a grizzly man named Kisuke Urahara. He remembered fighting a giant monster to save his sisters. He remembered breaking into Soul Society to rescue a friend named Rukia, facing captains with power that could split the sky, and winning through sheer determination. He remembered dying. No, not dying. Evolving, becoming something more, and then nothing. A void, darkness, and finally rebirth. I was Ichigo Kurosaki, Naruto said slowly, testing the words. They felt right. But now I'm Naruto Uzumaki. We're both king, two souls in one body, two warriors who refused to give up. Naruto stood, leaving the scroll on the ground. His hands trembled. The world looked different now, sharper, clearer, like he'd been looking through foggy glass his entire life, and someone had finally wiped it clean. He could feel energy flowing through him, not just chakra, but something else. Something spiritual, raw, powerful. His right hand moved instinctively to his side, fingers closing around a handle that materialized from thin air. The weight was familiar, comfortable, perfect. Naruto pulled, and the world exploded with blue light. The blade that emerged was massive, a cleaver wrapped in white cloth bandages, easily as tall as Naruto himself. The handle was long enough for two-handed grips, and despite its enormous size, it felt weightless in his hands. Power thrummed through the weapon like a heartbeat, synchronizing with his own pulse. Zangetsu, Naruto breathed, The name tasted like home. Naruto! The shout made him spin around. Iruka-sensei burst through the trees, panting and sweating, his face twisted with worry and anger. There you are! Do you have any idea how much trouble you're in? Stealing the forbidden scroll, running away. Iruka stopped mid-sentence, his eyes going wide as dinner plates. He stared at the massive blade in Naruto's hands, then at Naruto's face, then back at the blade. What is that? Naruto opened his mouth to answer, but another voice cut through the clearing. Well, looks like the demon brat found something interesting. Mizuki stepped from the shadows on the opposite side of the clearing, a cruel smile on his face. He held a Fuma Shuriken in one hand, spinning it lazily. I was hoping you'd learn the Shadow Clone Jutsu, Naruto, but that sword is even better. I'll take it in the scroll. Hand them over. Iruka moved between them instantly, arms spread wide. Mizuki, what are you doing? This is treason! Treason! Mizuki laughed, high and cold. I'm saving myself, Iruka. Do you know how much Lord Orochimaru will pay for that scroll? Enough to set me up for life. As for the demon, his eyes locked on Naruto with pure malice. Well, the village will thank me for putting it down. Demon? Naruto's grip tightened on Zangetsu. The word stung, but the memories from Ichigo's life provided context. He'd been called monster before, treated like a weapon, feared and isolated. That's right, Naruto! Mizuki's grin widened. You want to know why everyone hates you? Why they look at you with disgust? 12 years ago, the fourth Hokage didn't kill the nine-tailed fox. He sealed it inside a newborn baby. He sealed it inside you. You're the demon that destroyed our village. You're the monster that killed Iruka's parents. The words hung in the air like poison. Naruto felt the familiar pain bloom in his chest, the confirmation of everything he'd feared, the reason for the hateful stares and whispered curses. But alongside that pain came something else, something from Ichigo's memories. So what? The thought was simple and profound. Ichigo had been told he was dangerous, that his power was unstable, that he should give up and let others handle things. He'd ignored all of it. He'd carved his own path, protected those he cared about, and refused to let anyone define him by circumstances beyond his control. Naruto Uzumaki had been born with the nine tails inside him. That was fact, but Ichigo Kurosaki had been born with hollow and Quincy powers inside him. Also fact. Neither of them had let that define who they became. Is that supposed to change something? Naruto said quietly. Iruka's head whipped around in shock. Yeah, I've got the fox inside me. Didn't ask for it, didn't choose it. But you know what, Mizuki-sensei? I'm still Naruto Uzumaki, and I'm still going to become Hokage Databayo. Mizuki's smile faltered. You're not going to break? Not going to cry? Why would I cry? Naruto's eyes hardened, and for a moment Mizuki saw something ancient and terrifying looking back at him. I've been through worse, way worse, and I always come out the other side. You little. Mizuki hurled the Fuma Shuriken, but he wasn't aiming at Naruto, he aimed at Iruka. Time seemed to slow. Naruto saw the spinning blade arcing through the air, saw Iruka beginning to turn, saw the trajectory that would split his teacher's skull open. The man who'd shown him kindness, who'd bought him ramen, who'd seen him as a person, not a weapon. Naruto's body moved on instinct. Not Naruto's instinct. Ichigo's, Shunpo. The world blurred. Naruto vanished from where he stood and reappeared directly between Mizuki and Iruka, moving faster than the human eye could track. The Fuma Shuriken struck Zangetsu's massive blade with a metallic clang and bounced away harmlessly. Iruka stumbled backward. How did you? I told you, Naruto said, his voice dropping into something colder and more focused. The playful kid from the academy was gone, replaced by a warrior who'd fought gods and demons. I won't let you hurt my sensei. Mizuki's face went pale. That speed, that's impossible. You're just a genin dropout. Naruto planted Zangetsu into the ground and looked up, his blue eyes burning with spiritual pressure that made the air itself feel heavy. I'm whatever I need to be to protect people I care about. The pressure continued to build. Leaves began to shake on the trees. The grass around Naruto's feet flattened in a perfect circle. Mizuki took an involuntary step backward, his body screaming danger, even as his mind tried to process what was happening. This wasn't chakra. This was something else entirely. You wanted to kill Iruka-sensei and steal the forbidden scroll, Naruto said, lifting Zangetsu with one hand. The massive blade rose effortlessly, pointing at Mizuki. That makes you an enemy. And I don't go easy on enemies. Mizuki's hands flew through seals. Wind style, wind cutter jutsu. A blade of compressed air shot forward. Naruto didn't dodge. He simply swung Zangetsu in a horizontal arc, and the wind jutsu dispersed like smoke against the spiritual energy coating his blade. My turn, Naruto said. He raised Zangetsu above his head, spiritual energy gathering along the blade in waves of blue and black. The power was raw, unstable. He didn't have Ichigo's years of training yet, couldn't fully control the technique. But he remembered how it felt, remembered the motion, remembered the name. Getsuga Tensho! Naruto brought the blade down in a devastating vertical slash. The spiritual energy exploded outward in a massive crescent wave of blue light, tearing through the clearing like a tsunami. Trees shattered, earth erupted. The very air screamed. Mizuki didn't even have time to scream. The Getsuga Tensho slammed in him with the force of a collapsing mountain, launching him backward through 3 trees before he finally crashed into a boulder. The impact knocked him unconscious instantly, his body ragdolling like a broken puppet. Silence fell over the forest. Naruto stood in the center of a 50-foot crater, Zangetsu still held in both hands, breathing hard. The blade dissolved into spiritual particles and vanished, returning to wherever it stayed when not summoned. He looked at his hands, then at the destruction he'd caused. Whoa, he said, his voice returning to its normal pitch. That was intense, Databayo. Naruto. Iruka's voice was barely above a whisper. The Chunin stood at the edge of the crater, staring at his student with an expression caught between awe and fear. What are you? Naruto turned to face him, and Iruka saw that despite the impossible power he just displayed, those blue eyes still held the same warmth, the same determination, the same pure-hearted kindness that had always defined Naruto Uzumaki. I'm still me, Iruka-sensei. Naruto said with a grin that didn't quite hide the uncertainty beneath. Just remembered some stuff from before. Before you were born? Something like that. Naruto climbed out of the crater and approached his teacher. I know it's weird. Trust me, it's weird for me too, but I'm still Naruto. Still want to be Hokage. Still love ramen more than anything except maybe my precious people. Iruka studied him for a long moment. Then, slowly, he smiled. You saved my life. Of course I did. You're important to me, Databayo. And that power, yeah. Naruto scratched the back of his head sheepishly. Gonna take some getting used to. But it's mine now. Part of who I am. He met Iruka's eyes seriously. I'll use it to protect people. To become strong enough that nobody can hurt the people I care about. That's my promise. Iruka's smile widened. He reached up and untied his forehead protector, then stepped forward and tied it around Naruto's head. Then you better start acting like a real ninja. Congratulations, Naruto. You graduate. Naruto's eyes went wide. His hands flew to the forehead protector, touching it reverently. Really? But I failed the test. You mastered the shadow clone jutsu from the Forbidden Scroll, defeated a traitor who was threatening a Chunin instructor, and showed me that you understand what it truly means to be a shinobi. Iruka's voice was thick with emotion. You've more than earned this. Tears streamed down Naruto's face. He dreamed of this moment for so long. The forehead protector represented everything he'd worked for. Acknowledgement, belonging, the first step toward his dream. Thank you, Iruka-sensei, he whispered. They stayed like that for a moment, teacher and student, before Anbu operatives appeared in the trees around them. The Hokage had been alerted to the disturbance. Naruto and Iruka would have a lot of explaining to do, but as Naruto looked at the symbol of Konohagakure gleaming on his forehead, he felt something settle inside him. 2 souls merged into one. 2 warriors united in purpose. He was Naruto Uzumaki, future Hokage, and he was also Ichigo Kurosaki, protector of the living and the dead. The combination would change everything. The Hokage's office was uncomfortably warm. Naruto stood at attention in front of Hiruzen Sarutobi's desk, acutely aware of the 4 Anbu operatives positioned in the room's corners and the legendary Sannin Jiraiya leaning against the wall with his arms crossed. Iruka stood beside Naruto, having given his report of the night's events. The 3rd Hokage looked older than Naruto remembered. Then again, Ichigo's memories provided context. Leadership aged people faster than anything else. The weight of responsibility, of making decisions that affected thousands of lives, carved lines into faces and bent backs that should have remained straight. Let me make sure I understand correctly, Hiruzen said, his voice carefully neutral. You manifested a sword made of spiritual energy, moved faster than a chunin could track, and used a technique that created a crater 50 feet wide, all without using chakra. I used some chakra, Naruto said. But yeah, mostly spiritual energy. It's different. But also the same? It's hard to explain, old man. Naruto, Iruka hissed. Show respect. This is Lord Hokage. Hiruzen waved a hand dismissively. It's fine, Iruka. Naruto has never been one for formality. His eyes sharpened as they focused on the blonde boy. But this is serious, Naruto. You displayed powers that shouldn't exist. Powers that have no precedent in our world. Actually, I think they do. Jiraiya pushed off the wall and approached, his normally jovial expression replaced by intense curiosity. I've traveled the world extensively, and I've heard stories, whispers of a civilization that existed long before the Sage of Six Paths, a society that governed the afterlife itself, populated by warriors called Soul Reapers who wielded swords that could kill immortal spirits. Naruto's head snapped toward Jiraiya. You know about Soul Society? The room went silent. So it is real, Jiraiya breathed. I thought they were just legends, stories told by monks in remote temples. But you, he studied Naruto with new eyes. You're saying you have memories of this place? More than memories. Naruto held out his right hand, and Zangetsu materialized in a flash of blue light. The Anbu operatives tensed immediately, hands moving to their weapons, but Hiruzen held up a hand to stop them. The sword was exactly as Iruka had described. Massive, wrapped in white cloth, radiating an aura of pure power that made the air in the room feel thick. This is Zangetsu, Naruto said quietly. My Zanpakuto. In the world I remember, every Soul Reaper had one. It's the physical manifestation of their soul, their power given form. He looked at the blade with an expression of profound familiarity. This is me, the real me, the part that refuses to give up no matter what. Fascinating, Jiraiya murmured. And you say you have memories of using this weapon? Fighting with it? Yeah, tons of them. Naruto dismissed Zangetsu, and the blade vanished. I remember training, fighting monsters called Hollows, battling other Soul Reapers even. He hesitated, glancing at the Hokage. Even facing people who could destroy cities with a single swing of their sword. Hiruzen's expression remained carefully controlled, but Naruto saw the concern in his eyes. A child with memories of such power, of battles that transcended anything most ninja ever experienced, represented both an incredible asset and a potential threat. Lord Hokage, Iruka spoke up. I know this seems impossible, but I was there. Naruto didn't just defeat Mizuzuki, he utterly overwhelmed him. The power he displayed. Iruka swallowed hard. It was like watching a jonin fight an academy student. No, more than that. It was like watching a force of nature. I'm still me, though. Naruto interjected quickly. I haven't changed, old man. I still want to be Hokage, still want to protect the village. This power just helps me do that better. The question, Jiraiya said thoughtfully, is why now? If you're the reincarnation of this Ichigo Kurosaki, why did the memories only surface tonight? Naruto thought about it, accessing the merged consciousness that now defined his existence. I think it was the scroll. Something about touching it, reading it, triggered something, like it woke up the part of me that was sleeping. Or perhaps, Hiruzen suggested gently, you were always meant to remember. Perhaps this power waited until you were ready to handle it. Either way, Jiraiya said, we need to assess the full extent of your abilities. Can you demonstrate this flash step technique Iruka mentioned? Naruto nodded. It's called Shunpo. Watch. He vanished. One moment he stood in front of the Hokage's desk. The next he was behind Jiraiya, tapping the Sannin on the shoulder. Jiraiya spun, eyes wide, as Naruto grinned at him. Fast enough for you, pervy sage? How did you? Jiraiya's hand shot out to grab Naruto, but the boy was already gone, reappearing back in his original position. That's not body flicker. There's no chakra signature, no hand seals. You just moved. It's about manipulating spiritual particles under my feet, Naruto explained. Creating a platform of condensed energy and kicking off it lets me move faster than most people can track. Hiruzen stroked his beard. And the attack you used against Mizuki? This Getsuga Tensho? It's basically concentrating my spiritual energy along the blade and releasing it all at once. Creates a cutting wave that can slice through almost anything. Naruto's expression grew more serious. But I'm not as good at controlling it as I should be. Ichigo's memories show me what it's supposed to look like, but my body isn't trained yet. I'm working on muscle memory that isn't there. Which means you'll only get stronger as you train, Jiraiya observed. Wonderful. The kid already has enough chakra to put most shonen to shame, and now he has a completely separate power system to develop. Is that a problem? Naruto asked defensively. On the contrary, Jiraiya's grin returned. It's incredible. You're going to be a monster, kid. The question is whether we can keep you from destroying the village during training. I have control, Naruto protested. You put a 50-foot crater in the forest. I was fighting a traitor. Enough. Hiruzen's voice cut through the argument. He stood, walking around his desk to face Naruto directly. Naruto Uzumaki, do you understand what this power means? The responsibility it carries? Naruto met his eyes without flinching. Yeah, I do. Ichigo's memories taught me that. Power isn't about showing off or winning fights. It's about protecting people, about standing between the people you care about and anything that wants to hurt them. His voice softened. I won't abuse it, old man. I promise. Hiruzen studied him for a long moment, then nodded slowly. I believe you. You've always had a good heart, Naruto, even when the village didn't see it. This power, these memories, they don't change that fundamental truth about who you are. He returned to his desk and pulled out a sheet of paper. You'll be assigned to a Genin team as planned. However, I'm also assigning Jiraiya as a supplementary instructor. He'll help you develop your unique abilities without drawing too much attention. Hey, wait a minute, Jiraiya protested. I'm in the middle of important research. Your research can wait, Hiruzen said flatly. Naruto represents something unprecedented, a bridge between our world and another, with powers that could tip the balance in conflicts to come. He needs guidance from someone who understands the weight of extraordinary power. Jiraiya sighed dramatically, but didn't argue further. He looked at Naruto with a mixture of exasperation and interest. Fine, but you're buying me sake, kid. I'm 12. Details. Naruto couldn't help but grin. This pervy sage reminded him of Kisuke Urahara, eccentric, perverted, but ultimately reliable when it mattered. There's one more thing, Hiruzen said seriously. Naruto, what do you know about the 9 tails? The question made Naruto pause. He'd only learned about Kurama tonight, but Ichigo's memories provided context. The fox was sealed inside him, a massive concentration of chakra and hatred. But Ichigo had dealt with similar situations, the hollow inside him, the manifestation of his Quincy powers. He'd learned to work with them, to turn potential weaknesses into strengths. I know it's sealed inside me, Naruto said carefully. I know it attacked the village 12 years ago, and the 4th Hokage sacrificed himself to stop it by making me the Jinchuriki. And how do you feel about that? Naruto thought about it. Honestly, it sucks. I didn't ask for this. But he remembered Ichigo's journey, how he'd eventually made peace with his inner hollow, how they'd worked together to defeat impossible enemies. But it's part of me now, like Zangetsu, like these memories. I can either hate it and let it control me, or I can accept it and find a way to use it. Wise words, Hiruzen said quietly, wiser than most adults would speak. Your maturity continues to surprise me, Naruto. I've lived through a lot, Naruto said with a shrug. Or Ichigo did. Sometimes it's hard to tell where one of us ends and the other begins. But we both learned the same lesson. You can't run from what you are. You can only move forward and try to be better. Jiraiya let out a low whistle. Kid, you're either going to save the world or give me a heart attack. Possibly both. Probably both, Naruto agreed cheerfully, his grin returning. But hey, at least it won't be boring, Dadabayo. The meeting concluded with arrangements for Naruto's training schedule and strict instructions to keep his unique abilities confidential. As Naruto left the Hokage's office with Iruka, he touched the forehead protector tied around his head and smiled. He was officially a ninja of Konohagakure now, and he had the power to make his dreams reality. Team assignments were announced 3 days later. Naruto sat in the academy classroom, trying to pay attention as Iruka called out names. The memories of Ichigo's school life made him sympathize with his past self. Sitting through lectures when you had the knowledge and combat experience of someone who'd fought wars was torture. Team 7, Iruka announced. Naruto Uzumaki, Sakura Haruno, and Sasuke Uchiha. Your Jonin instructor is Kakashi Hatake. Naruto glanced at his teammates. Sakura was glaring at him with barely concealed disgust. She'd made her dislike of him very clear over the years. Sasuke sat with his arms crossed, staring out the window with that brooding expression that never seemed to change. Ichigo's memories stirred. He'd dealt with people like this before. Chad had been stoic and quiet. Ishida had been prickly and hostile. Renji had been competitive and aggressive. But they'd all become friends eventually, bonded through shared battles and mutual respect. Maybe Team 7 could be the same, or maybe they'd hate him forever. Either way, Naruto wasn't going to let it stop him from becoming Hokage. The teams filed out to meet their instructors. Most were claimed within minutes. Team 7 waited, and waited, and waited. Where is this guy? Naruto muttered after an hour. Sakura had stopped complaining and started reading. Sasuke hadn't moved from his position by the window. Another hour passed. Naruto's patience, never his strongest quality, finally snapped. He grabbed an eraser and wedged it in the doorframe, positioning it to fall on whoever entered next. That's so childish, Sakura said without looking up from her book. Yeah, well, making us wait 3 hours is also childish. Naruto shot back. The door slid open, and the eraser fell perfectly onto the head of a tall man with gravity-defying silver hair and a mask covering the lower half of his face. The Jonin looked down at the eraser, then up at Team 7 with a single visible eye. My first impression of you guys, Kakashi said slowly, you're all idiots. Naruto burst out laughing. He couldn't help it. The deadpan delivery, the complete lack of reaction, it reminded him of some of the Soul Society captains who'd taken nothing seriously. Meet me on the roof, Kakashi said, vanishing in a swirl of leaves. Sasuke was first up the stairs, moving with practiced efficiency. Sakura followed, complaining about Naruto's prank. Naruto brought up the rear, using Shunpo to simply appear on the roof ahead of everyone else. Kakashi's visible eye widened fractionally as Naruto materialized out of thin air. Interesting. What the? How did you do that? Sakura demanded. I'm fast, Dadabayo, Naruto said with a grin, sitting down on the roof's edge. Kakashi studied him with new interest before gesturing for everyone to sit. All right, why don't we start with introductions? Tell me your name, likes, dislikes, dreams for the future, hobbies, things like that. Why don't you go first? Sakura suggested. You know, to show us how it's done. Me, I'm Kakashi Hatake. I have no desire to tell you my likes or dislikes. Dreams for the future? Never really thought about it. As for hobbies, I have lots of hobbies. Naruto snorted. So basically we learned your name and nothing else. Exactly. Kakashi's eye crinkled in what might have been a smile. Your turn, Blondie. Naruto stood, stretching. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. I like ramen, especially miso ramen from Ichiraku's, and training and my precious people. I dislike people who hurt their friends in the 3 minutes it takes for ramen to cook. My dream is to become Hokage, so everyone will have to acknowledge me. My hobby is, he paused, thinking, practicing kenjutsu, I guess. Kenjutsu? Kakashi's interest sharpened. You use a sword? Sometimes. Naruto wasn't ready to reveal Zangetsu to his team yet. That would come later when trust was established. Interesting. Pink-haired girl, you're next. Sakura went through her introduction, which mostly consisted of giggling about Sasuke and declaring her dream was to get Sasuke to notice her. Naruto resisted the urge to roll his eyes. Ichigo had dealt with Orihime's crush on him with patience and kindness. He could do the same with Sakura's obsession with Sasuke. Sasuke's introduction was predictably terse. His dream, or rather his ambition, was to restore his clan and kill a certain someone. The hatred in his voice when he said it made Naruto's spiritual senses tingle. That kind of focused rage was dangerous. He'd seen it before, in the eyes of people who'd lost everything and channeled all their pain into revenge. It never ended well. All right, Kakashi said once introductions finished. Tomorrow we'll have our first mission, a survival exercise. That sounds easy, Sakura said. Oh, but this isn't an ordinary exercise. Kakashi's voice took on an ominous tone. Of the 27 graduates, only 9 will actually become genin. The rest will be sent back to the academy. This exercise has a failure rate of over 66%. Sakura's face went pale. Even Sasuke looked slightly concerned. Naruto just grinned. Bring it on. Kakashi studied him. You seem confident. I don't fail tests, Naruto said simply. It was true. Ichigo had passed every trial thrown at him, from fighting captains to defeating godlike beings. A genin exam wouldn't be the thing that stopped him. We'll see. Meet at Training Ground 3 at 5 a.m. Don't eat breakfast, you'll just throw up. Kakashi vanished in another swirl of leaves, leaving Team 7 alone on the roof. Great, Sakura muttered. I'm stuck with the class clown and Mr. Brooding over there. Hey, Naruto protested. I graduated, didn't I? I'm not the dead last anymore. Only because you stole the forbidden scroll, Sakura shot back. Everyone's talking about it. You're lucky they didn't throw you in prison. Naruto's good mood evaporated. You don't know anything about that night. I know you're a troublemaker who... Sakura. Sasuke's voice cut through the argument. Stop talking. You're annoying. Sakura immediately switched from angry to apologetic, trying to appeal to Sasuke. Naruto watched the dynamic with something like pity. She was so desperate for Sasuke's approval that she twisted herself into knots trying to please him. Ichigo's memories provided perspective. Orihime had liked him, but she'd never lost herself in the process. She'd been strong, capable, fighting alongside him as an equal. Sakura had potential. Naruto could sense the chakra control that would make her a devastating medical ninja one day, but right now she was wasting it on puppy love. Maybe he could help change that. See you tomorrow, Naruto said, heading for the stairs. Wait. Sasuke's voice stopped him. That speed technique you used, what was it? Naruto glanced back. Trade secret, Dadabayo. Sasuke's eyes narrowed. You've changed. A month ago, you could barely throw a kunai straight. Now you're moving faster than I can track. People grow, Naruto said with a shrug. Maybe you should try it sometime instead of just brooding all the time. He left before Sasuke could respond, using Shunpo to flash down to street level. As he walked through the village, he noticed the stairs. They were the same as always, fear, disgust, hatred. But now they bothered him less. Ichigo had been stared at too, treated like a monster because of the hollow inside him. The difference was that Ichigo had friends who saw past it. Naruto was determined to find the same, starting with his team. Training Ground 3 was misty and cold at 5 a.m. Naruto arrived precisely on time, which meant Sasuke was already there, leaning against a tree with his eyes closed. Sakura showed up 10 minutes later, yawning and complaining about the early hour. Kakashi didn't appear until 8. You're late, Sakura shrieked. Sorry. A black cat crossed my path, so I had to take the long way, Kakashi said cheerfully, not sounding sorry at all. He held up 2 bells. Here's the exercise. Your goal is to take these bells from me before noon. Those who don't get a bell get tied to those posts over there and will watch while the others eat lunch. But there are only 2 bells, Sakura observed. That's right, which means at least one of you will definitely be tied to a post, and at least one of you will fail. Oh, and whoever fails gets sent back to the academy. Sasuke's eyes narrowed. Sakura looked panicked. Naruto just smiled. You can use any weapon you want, Kakashi continued. Come at me with the intent to kill, or you'll never get the bells. But that's dangerous, Sakura protested. For you, maybe. Kakashi's eye curved in another smile. Ready? Start. Sasuke and Sakura immediately leaped into the trees, hiding. Naruto stayed exactly where he was, hands in his pockets. Not going to hide? Kakashi asked. Nah. Naruto's spiritual pressure began to rise, subtle but noticeable to anyone sensitive to energy. I work better when I can see my opponent. Kakashi's visible eye widened slightly. The air around Naruto felt heavier, like standing too close to someone with overwhelming killing intent. But it wasn't malicious, just powerful, concentrated, like staring at a coiled spring. Interesting, Kakashi murmured. Show me what you've got then. Naruto vanished. Kakashi's hand moved to his kunai pouch on instinct, but Naruto was already behind him, reaching for the bells. Kakashi spun, bringing his arm up to block, but Naruto used Shunpo again, appearing on Kakashi's opposite side. The Jonin was fast, incredibly fast. He caught Naruto's wrist before the boy could grab the bells and flipped him over his shoulder. But Naruto twisted in mid-air, landed on his hands, and kicked off the ground with enough force to crater the earth beneath him. Kakashi dodged backward, his visible eye now sharp with focus. That speed isn't body flicker. What is it? Like I said, trade secret. Naruto came in low, throwing a punch that Kakashi deflected. The Jonin countered with a kick that Naruto blocked with his forearm. The impact should have shattered bone. Instead, Kakashi felt like he'd kicked solid steel. What the? Naruto grinned. Blood vene hardens my spiritual energy into iron skin. Pretty useful data bio. Kakashi created distance, his mind racing. This wasn't normal. The speed was Jonin level. The defensive technique was something he'd never seen. And that pressure in the air. You're not just some academy dropout, are you? Kakashi said slowly. Never was. Naruto's expression grew more serious. I'm going to be Hokage. That means I can't afford to be weak. From the trees, Sakura watched with her mouth hanging open. How is he doing that? He's fighting Kakashi-sensei like it's nothing. Sasuke's Sharingan activated, the two Tomoe spinning as he tried to track Naruto's movements. But even with his enhanced perception, Naruto kept disappearing. The speed wasn't just fast, it was instantaneous. Like teleportation. What are you, Naruto? Sasuke thought, frustration building. He'd spent years training to become strong enough to face his brother. He'd pushed himself to the limit, becoming the top of their class. And now the dead last was fighting at a level Sasuke couldn't even comprehend. Kakashi threw a kunai. Naruto caught it out of the air and threw it back twice as fast. Kakashi deflected it and went through hand seals. Fire style, fireball jutsu. A massive sphere of flame roared toward Naruto. The blonde boy didn't dodge. Instead, he thrust his hand forward, and spiritual pressure condensed into a visible wall that split the fireball in half, sending flames harmlessly to either side. Impossible, Kakashi breathed. Nothing's impossible if you're determined enough, Naruto shot back. He dashed forward again, moving in a zigzag pattern that made him impossible to predict. His hand reached for the bells. Kakashi vanished underground. Earth-style, headhunter jutsu. The ground erupted beneath Naruto, hands reaching to pull him down. But Naruto was already gone, appearing 10 feet away. Nice try, sensei! From his underground position, Kakashi revised every assumption he'd made about this test. Naruto wasn't just talented, he was operating on a completely different level. The question was whether Sasuke and Sakura could recognize what that meant for the team, because that was the real test. Kakashi emerged from the ground and held up his hand. Stop! I've seen enough. Naruto skidded to a halt, breathing hard but grinning. What, giving up already? Hardly. Kakashi pulled out a small orange book, Ichigo Paradise, and started reading. But I'm curious about something. Why are you fighting alone? This is a team exercise. Because Sakura and Sasuke are hiding in the trees instead of helping, Naruto said bluntly. And whose fault is that? Kakashi didn't look up from his book. Did you try to coordinate with them? Make a plan? Or did you just rush in because you thought you could handle it yourself? Naruto opened his mouth to argue, then stopped. Ichigo's memory stirred, battles where he charged ahead alone, refusing help, trying to shoulder everything himself. It had almost gotten him killed more times than he could count. He'd only succeeded when he learned to trust his friends, to fight alongside them instead of in front of them. Point taken, Naruto admitted, Kakashi's eye curved in approval. Good. Now what are you going to do about it? Naruto turned to the trees. Oi, Sasuke! Sakura! Get down here! There was a pause, then both his teammates dropped from their hiding spots. Sakura looked embarrassed. Sasuke looked annoyed. We need to work together, Naruto said. This isn't a solo mission. Kakashi-sensei's too good for any of us to beat alone. You seem to be doing fine, Sasuke said coldly. I was keeping him busy, but I couldn't get the bells. Naruto met Sasuke's eyes. You've got the Sharingan. You can predict his movements. Sakura's got great chakra control. Bet she could create an opening. And I've got speed. Together, we might actually pull this off. Sakura blinked. You want to work with us? Well, yeah, we're a team, aren't we? Sasuke studied Naruto for a long moment. Pride warred with pragmatism. He didn't like the idea of needing help, especially from Naruto, but he also refused to fail this test. Fine, Sasuke said. What's the plan? Naruto's grin widened. Glad you asked, Dadabayo. The coordinated assault came from 3 directions simultaneously. Sasuke emerged from the trees, throwing shuriken in a precise pattern that forced Kakashi to dodge into Sakura's position. The pink-haired girl threw a kunai with an explosive tag that detonated at Kakashi's feet, creating a cloud of smoke. Naruto appeared in the smoke using shunpo, his hand reaching for the bells. But Kakashi was already moving, substituting with a log at the last second. He reappeared behind Sasuke, moving to tie him to the post, except Naruto was there too, blocking Kakashi's rope with his arm. Not happening, sensei. Sasuke took the opening, his hand shooting toward the bells. Kakashi twisted, but Sakura had positioned herself perfectly, forcing him to choose between blocking Sasuke or dodging her kunai. He chose to dodge. Sasuke's fingers grazed the bells, and the bells disappeared. Kakashi stood 10 feet away, bells in hand, reading his book again. Not bad. Much better than your first attempts. How did you? Sakura started. Substitution, Sasuke said, his Sharingan spinning. He switched with them before we got close. Correct. Kakashi finally put his book away. You three showed improvement. At first you worked individually. Naruto charged ahead. Sasuke hid, looking for an opening. Sakura panicked, but then you communicated, coordinated, used your respective strengths to create opportunities. He smiled. That's exactly what I wanted to see. So, we pass? Naruto asked hopefully. Not quite. Kakashi's expression grew serious. There's one more lesson. Naruto, why do you think there are only 2 bells? Naruto thought about it. Ichigo's memories provided insight. He'd fought in team battles where coordination was essential, where protecting your comrades was more important than personal glory. Because, Naruto said slowly, a team member who abandons their friends is worse than trash. You wanted to see if we turn on each other or work together. Kakashi's visible eye widened. Someone taught you that? Yeah. Naruto smiled, remembering things he'd never experienced but felt as real as his own life. Someone important. They taught me that bonds between people are what give us strength, that protecting the people we care about is more important than any individual achievement. Sasuke looked away, something uncomfortable crossing his face. That's exactly right, Kakashi said quietly. In the ninja world, those who break the rules are scum, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than scum. That's the true lesson of this test. He pulled out his bells and tossed one to Naruto and one to Sasuke. You all pass. Wait, what? Sakura squeaked. But I didn't get a bell. You don't need one. Kakashi's eye curved in a smile. You three are Team 7 now. Where one of you succeeds, all of you succeed. Where one of you fails, all of you fail. That's what it means to be a team. Naruto caught the bell, feeling its weight. Such a small thing, representing such an important lesson. He glanced at his teammates, Sasuke still looking away with that complicated expression, and Sakura, who was staring at Kakashi with dawning understanding. So, Kakashi said, pulling out his book again, let's go get some food. I'm buying. Ramen, Naruto shouted immediately. Of course you'd want ramen, Sakura muttered, but she was smiling. Even Sasuke's lips twitched in what might have been the ghost of a smirk. As they walked toward Ichiraku's, Naruto felt something warm settle in his chest. This was it. This was what Ichigo had felt when he'd fought alongside his friends. This sense of belonging, of shared purpose, of knowing people had your back. Team 7 might be dysfunctional. They definitely had issues to work through, but they were his team now, and Naruto protected his people, always. The Land of Waves mission changed everything. It started as a simple C-rank escort mission, protect a bridge builder named Tazuna on his way home. Easy money, or so Kakashi said. Naruto had his doubts. Ichigo's memories taught him that simple missions never stayed simple. He was right. The Demon Brothers attacked on the second day of travel, emerging from a puddle despite there being no recent rain. Ninja disguised as puddles. Classic misdirection. Kakashi let himself get caught in their chain attack, dying in a shower of blood and gore. Sakura screamed. Sasuke froze for a split second, then engaged. Naruto moved faster. Shunpo, he appeared behind the first demon brother, catching the chain before it could wrap around Sakura. The missing nin's eyes widened as Naruto yanked the chain hard enough to pull him off balance, then delivered a palm strike to his chest that sent him flying 20 feet into a tree. The second brother lunged at Naruto with poison claws. Naruto didn't dodge. He activated Blood Vein, letting the claws scrape harmlessly against his spiritually reinforced skin, then grabbed the man's wrist and twisted. Bone cracked. The missing 9 howled. Stay down, Naruto said coldly. Both brothers collapsed unconscious before they hit the ground. The entire fight took 5 seconds. Kakashi dropped from a tree branch where he'd been watching. Well, that was efficient. You were alive? Sakura shrieked. I wanted to see how you'd react to a surprise attack, Kakashi said calmly. He studied Naruto with new interest. Those movements, that's not a standard academy technique. Told you, Naruto said with a shrug. I've been training. Sasuke stared at his hands, which were still shaking from the adrenaline. Naruto had moved so fast, ended the fight so decisively. The gap between them wasn't closing, it was widening. I need to get stronger, Sasuke thought viciously. I can't let the dead last surpass me. Kakashi tied up the demon brothers and turned to Tazuna. These were Chunin-level missing nin from Kirigakure. Your escort mission just became at least B rank. Want to tell us why missing nin are after a bridge builder? Tazuna looked away, guilt written on his weathered face. I may have lied about the mission details. Over the next 10 minutes, the truth came out. Tazuna's country was being terrorized by a shipping magnate named Gado, who'd hired missing nin to prevent the bridge from being completed. If Tazuna finished the bridge, it would break Gado's stranglehold on the Land of Waves economy. We should go back, Sakura said nervously. This is way above our level. No way, Naruto protested. We can't just abandon these people. Naruto's right, Kakashi said, surprising everyone. We've already been attacked. Turning back now won't change that. Besides, his eye curved in a smile. I'm curious to see how far my students have come. They continued to the Land of Waves. The mist on the water was thick and oppressive as they crossed by boat. Naruto's spiritual senses tingled. Something was coming. Something powerful. The boat master cut the engine as they approached the dock. Stay quiet. Gado has patrols everywhere. They disembarked and started walking through the forest. The mist grew thicker, limiting visibility to a few feet. Naruto's hand instinctively moved toward where Zangetsu would materialize. This felt wrong, like walking into a trap. Everyone, get down! Kakashi suddenly shouted. A massive sword whistled through the air, spinning like a buzzsaw. It cleaved through a tree trunk 3 feet thick before embedding itself in another tree. Attached to the sword's handle was a man standing on the blade's flat edge, tall, shirtless, with bandages wrapped around his face like a mask. Well, the man said, his voice like grinding stone. Kakashi of the Sharingan. This is an honor. Kakashi's visible eye narrowed. Zabuza Momochi, one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. This just became an A-rank mission. You kids protect the bridge builder, Zabuza said, pulling his sword, the executioner's blade from the tree. Kakashi is mine. Mist exploded outward, thick and cloying. Within seconds, visibility dropped to 0. Naruto could barely see his hand in front of his face. Hidden mist jutsu, Kakashi said grimly. He's an assassination specialist. Stay alert. Zabuza's voice echoed from everywhere and nowhere. 8 points. Larynx, spine, lungs, liver, jugular, collarbone, kidneys, heart. Which will be my first kill? The killing intent crashed over them like a physical wave. Sakura's legs gave out. Sasuke's hand shook as he reached for a kunai, the weight of Zabuza's bloodlust making it hard to breathe. But Naruto stood firm. He'd felt worse, much worse. Ichigo had faced enemies whose spiritual pressure could crush souls, who could kill with a glance, who embodied death itself. Zabuza's killing intent was impressive by ninja standards, but compared to fighting the manifestation of despair made flesh, it was barely an inconvenience. Calm down, Naruto said, his voice cutting through his teammates' panic. He's just trying to scare us. Just. Sakura's voice was barely a whisper. Naruto's spiritual pressure began to rise, pushing back against Zabuza's killing intent like a wave meeting a seawall. The mist around him started to clear, spiritual energy dispersing the water particles. Zabuza noticed immediately. What is this pressure? This is what it means to protect someone, Naruto shouted. He reached to his side, and Zangetsu materialized in a flash of blue light, the massive cloth-wrapped cleaver appearing as naturally as drawing breath. The sight of the enormous blade made everyone freeze. Even through the mist, its presence was undeniable. Naruto? Kakashi's voice held shock. What is that? Maizen Pakuto, Naruto said simply. He hefted the blade with both hands, spiritual energy crackling along its length. Zangetsu, the blade that cuts through fate itself. Zabuza laughed, but it sounded forced. A big sword doesn't make you a swordsman, kid. I'll cut you down and... Naruto swung. Getsuga Tensho! The blue crescent wave of spiritual energy exploded from Zangetsu's edge, tearing through the mist like it didn't exist. The massive attack carved a path through the forest, obliterating trees and earth in a 30-foot wide swath. Zabuza barely dodged, the wave passing so close it singed his bandages. He landed on a tree branch, staring at the destruction with undisguised shock. An entire section of forest had been flattened, the ground carved into a trench deep enough to fit a person. Impossible, Zabuza breathed. That's not chakra. What is that? Spiritual energy, Naruto said, grinning despite the strain of wielding Zangetsu. And I've got plenty more where that came from, Terabayo. Kakashi pulled up his forehead protector, revealing the Sharingan beneath. Naruto, fall back. This is my fight. No way, Naruto protested. I can. That's an order. Kakashi's voice snapped with authority. You've revealed an incredibly powerful technique. Don't waste it by getting yourself killed because you rushed in without thinking. Protect Tazuna and your teammates. Let me handle Zabuza. Naruto wanted to argue, but Ichigo's memories provided perspective. Sometimes you had to trust your comrades to handle their battles. Trying to fight every enemy yourself didn't make you strong. It made you reckless. Fine, Naruto said, dismissing Zangetsu. But if you need help, I'm jumping in. Fair enough. The battle between Kakashi and Zabuza was brutal and fast. The copy ninja lived up to his reputation, matching Zabuza technique for technique, even copying the missing ninjutsu before he could complete them. But Zabuza was an elite jonin, one of the legendary 7 swordsmen, and he wouldn't go down easily. They fought across the water, exchanging blows and jutsu at speeds that made Naruto's genin teammates dizzy trying to follow. Kakashi summoned his ninja hounds to track Zabuza through the mist. Zabuza created water clones that took actual strategy to defeat. Finally, Kakashi caught Zabuza in a trap, all 8 ninja hounds pinning the missing nin in place. It's over, Zabuza. Is it? Zabuza's grin was visible even through his bandages. Senbon needles suddenly pierced Zabuza's neck from a hidden position. The missing nin collapsed, apparently dead. A masked figure appeared, wearing a hunter nin mask from Kirigakure. Thank you for weakening him, the hunter nin said in a soft, androgynous voice. I've been tracking Zabuza Momochi for quite some time. I'll dispose of the body properly. The hunter nin gathered Zabuza and vanished in a swirl of mist. Kakashi's Sharingan deactivated, and he immediately slumped. Using the advanced Dujutsu always drained him. Mission complete. Let's get to Tazuna's house. Are you okay, Sensei? Sakura asked worriedly. Fine, just need rest. They arrived at Tazuna's modest home, where his daughter Tsunami greeted them warmly. Kakashi immediately passed out on a futon, the chakra exhaustion from overusing the Sharingan hitting him all at once. That night, while his teammates slept, Naruto stood outside staring at the incomplete bridge. Something bothered him about the fight. Something about the hunter nin's actions didn't add up. Can't sleep either? Naruto turned to find Sasuke leaning against the house, arms crossed. Just thinking, Naruto said. About that sword. It wasn't a question. Among other things. Sasuke was quiet for a moment. Where did you learn that? That attack that destroyed half the forest? It's complicated. Try me. Naruto considered how much to reveal. Sasuke was his teammate, but they weren't friends yet. Trust had to be earned, and Sasuke was drowning in his own trauma and hatred. But maybe sharing something real would help. I have memories that aren't mine, Naruto said carefully. Memories of someone who fought with that sword in a different world, someone who protected people even when it cost him everything. Reincarnation? Sasuke's voice was skeptical. Something like that. Naruto met his eyes. I'm still me, still Naruto Uzumaki, still dreaming of becoming Hokage, but I've got the skills and experience of a warrior who faced impossible odds and won. He paused. Why are you asking? Because you're stronger than me, Sasuke said flatly, and I need to know how to catch up. There was no jealousy in his voice, just cold pragmatism. Sasuke Uchiha would do whatever it took to gain power, even if that meant learning from someone he'd once considered beneath him. Power's not everything, Naruto said. Ichigo, the person whose memories I have, he learned that the hard way. You can be the strongest person in the world and still lose the people you care about if you're fighting for the wrong reasons. And what are the right reasons? Protection, love, bonds between people. Naruto's voice softened. Your brother hurt you. I get that. But drowning in hatred won't make you strong enough to beat him. It'll just make you like him. Sasuke's hands clenched into fists. You don't know anything about my brother, about what he did. You're right, I don't. But I know about revenge. I've seen what it does to people. Naruto turned to face Sasuke fully. There's a difference between getting strong enough to protect what you love and getting strong enough to destroy what you hate. One of those paths leads somewhere good. The other just leads to more pain. What would you know about pain? Sasuke's voice was bitter. You've never lost anything. Naruto could have argued, could have mentioned the loneliness, the hatred, the isolation. Could have shared Ichigo's memories of losing friends, of being powerless to save people he cared about. Instead, he just said, maybe not. But I know enough to recognize when someone's heading down a dark path. And I'm not going to just watch my teammate destroy himself. Databayo. Sasuke stared at him for a long moment, something unreadable in his dark eyes. Then he turned and walked back inside without another word. Naruto sighed. Reaching Sasuke would take time. But he had to try, because that's what teammates did. The next morning brought clarity. Naruto's suspicions were confirmed when he examined Zabuza's death more carefully. Hunter Nen were supposed to destroy bodies on site to prevent information leakage. But this Hunter Nen had taken Zabuza's body intact. That meant either this wasn't a real Hunter Nen, or they wanted Zabuza alive. Zabuza's not dead, Naruto announced at breakfast, making everyone stop eating. Kakashi, still bedridden from chakra exhaustion, looked up sharply. Explain. Naruto laid out his reasoning. The Senbon placement, the Hunter Nen's behavior, the intact body removal, it all pointed to one conclusion. The Hunter Nen was an ally who'd put Zabuza in a temporary death-like state to escape. Which means he'll be back, Kakashi said grimly. And I'll still be recovering for at least a week. We need to prepare you three to fight. Thus began the most intense training Naruto had experienced since regaining Ichigo's memories. Kakashi taught them tree walking, using chakra control to stick to vertical surfaces. Sakura mastered it almost immediately, her natural talent for chakra control shining through. Sasuke achieved it after a full day of practice, his competitive nature driving him to success. Naruto struggled, not because he lacked the control, but because his spiritual energy kept interfering with his chakra. The two power systems didn't mix well. Every time he tried to focus chakra on his feet, spiritual energy would leak through and disrupt the process. You're overthinking it, Kakashi called from his position watching them train. Chakra control is about focus and balance. I'm trying, Naruto shouted back, falling from the tree for the 100th time. But it keeps. He stopped mid-sentence as an idea occurred to him. What if he wasn't supposed to use just chakra? What if he could combine both power systems? Ichigo had done something similar, blending his Soul Reaper powers with his hollow abilities and Quincy techniques. The combination had made him stronger than any individual power system could achieve alone. Naruto closed his eyes, focusing inward. Chakra flowed through his physical body. Spiritual energy flowed through his soul. They were separate but connected, like two rivers running parallel. What if he built a bridge between them? He pressed his foot against the tree trunk and pushed both energies simultaneously, chakra providing the connection, spiritual energy providing the strength. The combination clicked into place like a key in a lock. Naruto walked up the tree as easy as walking on flat ground. There we go, he shouted triumphantly. About time, Sasuke muttered, but Naruto could hear the grudging respect in his voice. Excellent work, Kakashi said. Now do it 1,000 more times until it's second nature. They trained for 3 days straight. Sakura improved her taijutsu and learned basic genju dispelling. Sasuke worked on his fire jutsu and kunai accuracy. Naruto practiced combining chakra and spiritual energy until he could switch between them instinctively. On the 4th day, Zabuza returned. The confrontation happened on the bridge. Team 7 arrived to find Zabuza and the fake Hunter 9, revealed to be a boy named Haku, waiting for them. Workers lay unconscious around the bridge, victims of Haku's ice techniques. Ready for round 2, Kakashi? Zabuza's grin was visible now that his bandages were gone. More than ready, Kakashi said, his Sharingan already active. Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, you handle the masked boy, I'll deal with Zabuza. Understood? They scattered as Kakashi and Zabuza clashed. Haku created mirrors of ice that surrounded Naruto and Sasuke, trapping them in a dome. "I'm sorry," Haku said softly, "but I fight for someone precious to me. I can't hold back." The mirrors reflected Haku's image dozens of times. Senbon needles flew from every direction, too fast to track. Sasuke's Sharingan spun desperately, trying to predict the patterns. Naruto took dozens of hits, the Senbon piercing his jumpsuit and drawing blood. But Blood Van activated unconsciously, preventing the needles from penetrating deep enough to hit vital points. "You're fast," Naruto said, wiping blood from his cheek. "But I fought faster." He closed his eyes, remembering Ichigo's training with Yoruichi, learning to sense movement through spiritual awareness rather than sight. The mirrors might confuse his eyes, but they couldn't hide the flow of spiritual energy that accompanied every living thing. There, Naruto used Shunpo, appearing directly in front of one mirror just as Haku emerged from it. His hand shot out, catching Haku's wrist mid-throw. "Caught you," Naruto said. Haku's eyes widened behind the mask. "How?" "I don't need to see you to sense you." Naruto's grip tightened. "You're fighting for someone you love. I respect that. But I'm fighting for my team, for this bridge builder, for everyone in this country who's suffering. And I'm not losing here, Dadabayo." He pulled Haku from the mirror and slammed him into the ground. The ice dome shattered, fragments raining down like snow. Sasuke stared. You can break through ice that withstood my fireball?" "Physical strength plus spiritual energy," Naruto explained. "Works pretty well." Haku struggled to his feet, one arm clearly dislocated. Despite the injury, he moved back into a combat stance. "I won't give up. As long as Zabuza-sama needs me, I'll keep fighting." "Why?" Sasuke demanded. "Why throw your life away for someone who just uses you as a tool?" "Because he saved me," Haku said simply. "When I had nothing, when everyone hated me for my abilities, Zabuza-sama gave me purpose. He gave me a reason to live." Naruto felt something twist in his chest. He understood that feeling, the desperate need to be useful, to be acknowledged, to mean something to someone. But Haku was taking it too far, treating his own life as disposable. "That's not a reason to live," Naruto said quietly. "That's just a reason to die slowly. Real bonds, real precious people, they don't want you to throw yourself away. They want you to live, to be happy." Haku's hands trembled. "You don't understand. Someone like you, who's never been alone, who's never been truly hated." "I understand better than you think," Naruto interrupted. His eyes flashed with spiritual pressure. "I've been hated my entire life, had villagers try to kill me. Spent years eating alone, sleeping alone, wondering why everyone looked at me like I was a monster. So don't tell me I don't understand loneliness." The conviction in Naruto's voice made Haku pause. "But you know what I learned?" Naruto continued. "That your life isn't just yours. When you connect with people, really connect, your life becomes precious to them. And their lives become precious to you. That's what it means to have bonds, not blind loyalty, not throwing yourself away, mutual protection, mutual respect." Sasuke listened, something in Naruto's words hitting him harder than expected. Wasn't that what he'd lost? Not just his family, but the mutual bonds, the people who valued him as more than a tool or a vessel for revenge. Before Haku could respond, a shout echoed across the bridge. "Haku, stop playing around!" Zabuza stood with his sword at Kakashi's throat, having apparently gained the upper hand. "Kill them and get over here. We need to finish this." Haku's expression hardened behind the mask. "Yes, Zabuza-sama." He created new ice mirrors, faster this time, surrounding Naruto and Sasuke again. But Naruto had seen the technique once. He understood its mechanics now. And he wasn't going to let Haku waste his life for someone who treated him like a disposable weapon. "Sasuke," Naruto said quietly, "when I give the signal, use your fireball jutsu on the ice. I'll handle the rest." "What signal?" Naruto's spiritual pressure exploded outward, so intense that cracks appeared in the ice mirrors. Haku stumbled, the overwhelming energy making it hard to maintain the technique. "That signal!" Naruto shouted. Sasuke didn't hesitate. Fire style, fireball jutsu. The massive sphere of flame consumed the ice mirrors, turning them to steam. Through the vapor, Naruto moved with Shunpo, appearing behind Haku before the boy could react. But instead of attacking, Naruto wrapped his arms around Haku in a tight hold, pinning his arms. "Let me go!" Haku struggled. "No." Naruto's voice was gentle but firm. "You're not dying today. I won't let you." You don't understand. Zabuza needs to learn to fight his own battles, Naruto interrupted, and you need to learn that your life matters, not just as a tool, but as a person. You deserve to be happy, Haku, to live for yourself. Haku went still. Through the mask, Naruto saw tears streaming down the boy's face. I don't know how to do that. Then learn, Naruto said, releasing him. Start by choosing to live. Everything else comes after. The moment was shattered by evil laughter. Gato appeared at the bridge's entrance, flanked by a small army of thugs and bandits. The shipping magnate sneered at Zabuza. Well, the demon of the mist, reduced to fighting children. How pathetic. Gato pulled out a crossbow. I've decided I don't need you anymore, Zabuza. You cost too much, and you failed to complete a simple assassination. So I'll just kill you, kill the bridge builder, and take control of this country myself. Zabuza's face went pale. You're betraying me? Betrayal implies we were ever allies, Gato laughed. You were just a hired thug, disposable, like that pretty boy you kept around. He aimed the crossbow at Haku. Guess I'll start with him. The crossbow fired. Naruto moved Shunpo. He appeared in front of Haku, catching the crossbow bolt out of the air with his bare hand. Blood vein hardened his skin enough to stop the projectile cold. Nobody, Naruto said, his voice dropping into Ichigo's cold battle tone, is killing anybody today, not while I'm here. His spiritual pressure erupted like a volcano, washing over the bridge in waves. Gato's thugs fell to their knees, some passing out from the sheer overwhelming presence. Even Zabuza took an involuntary step backward, his instincts screaming danger. What is this monster? Gato whimpered. I'm not a monster, Naruto said, his eyes burning with determination. I'm a protector, and you just threatened someone under my protection. He summoned Zangetsu, the massive blade materializing in a flash of blue light. The weight of it, the spiritual energy radiating from it, made the entire bridge shake. Last chance, Naruto said. Leave, now, or I'll make you leave. Gato screamed and fired his crossbow again. Naruto didn't even bother dodging. He swung Zangetsu, and the pure pressure wave from deflected the bolt harmlessly into the water. Wrong choice. Naruto planted Zangetsu in the bridge and cracked his knuckles. Then he used Shunpo to appear in the middle of Gato's army. What followed wasn't a fight. It was a demonstration. Naruto moved through the thugs like a whirlwind, using Ichigo's hand-to-hand combat expertise to devastating effect. Punches that sent grown men flying, kicks that cracked ribs, throws that made bodies crash through railings. Not a single blade drawn, not a single jutsu used, just pure martial skill backed by spiritual energy. In less than 2 minutes, Gato's entire army lay unconscious or groaning on the bridge. Naruto stood in the center of the carnage, not even breathing hard. He grabbed Gato by the collar and lifted him off the ground. You oppressed an entire country, Naruto said coldly. You hired criminals to terrorize innocent people. You tried to kill a boy who just wanted to help someone. His grip tightened. Give me one good reason why I shouldn't throw you off this bridge right now. Please, Gato begged. Sure, I have money. I can pay you. Name your price. I don't want your money. Naruto's eyes bore into him. I want you gone. Leave the land of waves. Never come back. And if I ever hear about you terrorizing another country, another village, another person... His spiritual pressure spiked, making Gato gasp for air. I'll find you, and next time I won't be merciful. He threw Gato toward his remaining conscious thugs. Get out of here, now. They fled, grabbing their injured companions and running for the boats. Within minutes, Gato's presence was completely gone from the bridge. Naruto dismissed Zangetsu and turned back to his team. Kakashi looked impressed. Sasuke looked thoughtful. Sakura looked like she might faint from shock. And Zabuza stood holding Haku, the boy having collapsed from exhaustion and emotional trauma. You protected my tool, Zabuza said, his voice rough. He's not a tool, Naruto corrected. He's a person. Your person, if you ever bothered to see him that way. Zabuza looked down at Haku's unconscious face. Something shifted in his expression. Regret, maybe, realization. I've been a fool, the missing Neon said quietly, treating the only person who ever cared about me like he was disposable. He looked at Naruto. You're a strange kid. Strong, compassionate, naive. I'm not naive, Naruto protested. I just believe people are worth saving. Even people who make mistakes. Even people who hurt others because they're hurt themselves. Ichigo's philosophy, Kakashi murmured, earning a sharp look from Naruto. The Jonin smiled. The Hokage told me some things. I think your predecessor would be proud. Zabuza carefully lifted Haku. I'm leaving. Going somewhere far from here. Maybe. He glanced at the boy in his arms. Maybe I'll learn to be better. For his sake. Good, Naruto said with a grin. Because if I hear you're terrorizing villages again, I'll come find you, Dadabayo. I believe you, kid. Zabuza started walking away, then paused. What's your name? Naruto Uzumaki, future Hokage. Hokage, huh? Zabuza's laugh was bitter. If you ever achieve that dream, maybe you'll make a better world, one where kids like Haku don't have to become weapons to survive. That's the plan! Zabuza left, carrying Haku toward an uncertain but hopefully better future. The bridge was completed a week later. Tazuna named it the Great Naruto Bridge, in honor of the boy who'd saved his country. Naruto cried when he saw the sign. Overwhelmed by the acknowledgement, Team 7 returned to Konoha as heroes, and Naruto's legend had only just begun. The Chunin exams arrived 3 months later. In that time, Team 7 had completed dozens of missions, slowly building trust and coordination. Naruto continued training his spiritual abilities with Jiraiya, while maintaining his cover as a talented but eccentric genin. Sasuke grew stronger, his Sharingan developing to 3 Tomoe. Sakura began studying medical ninjutsu under Kakashi's recommendation, her chakra control making her a natural. They weren't friends yet, not really, but they were becoming a team. When Kakashi nominated them for the Chunin exams, Naruto felt Ichigo's memory stirring. Exams, tests, trials designed to measure worth and potential. He'd faced similar challenges in Soul Society, proving himself worthy of fighting alongside captains. This would be no different. The first exam, a written test proctored by Ibiki Morino, was meant to test information gathering. Naruto could have cheated easily using spiritual awareness to sense other people's chakra signatures and copying their answers. Instead, he just wrote down what he knew from Ichigo's memories of similar tactical scenarios. It wasn't perfect, but it was enough. The real challenge was the 10th question, a psychological test where refusing to answer meant failing, but attempting and failing meant never being allowed to take the exam again. Naruto stood without hesitation. I'll take the question. Even knowing the risk, Ibiki's scarred face showed no emotion. Yeah, because a Hokage doesn't back down from challenges just because they're scary. If I fail, I'll just force them to change the rules, Dadabayo. Ibiki's lips twitched in what might have been a smile. Sit down, kid. You pass. The Forest of Death came next. 5 days of survival, fighting other teams for scrolls, avoiding giant creatures and death traps. Team 7 obtained their scroll on the first day. Naruto used spiritual awareness to locate the nearest team. Then Sasuke and Sakura helped plan the ambush. They were heading toward the tower when he appeared. Orochimaru. The Sannin emerged from the trees like a snake, his yellow eyes fixed on Sasuke with predatory interest. Well, the last Uchiha. How delicious. Kakashi had warned them about Orochimaru, a rogue Sannin, one of the most dangerous criminals in the world, with a particular obsession with the Sharingan. The killing intent radiating from him made Sakura collapse immediately. Even Sasuke's newfound confidence wavered. But Naruto felt something else entirely. His spiritual pressure erupted instinctively, a response to the threat. But as it mixed with his chakra, something unexpected happened. The Nine Tails' hatred leaked through the seal, drawn by Naruto's intense emotion. The combination was terrifying. Naruto's spiritual pressure turned red and black, swirling with malevolent energy that felt like staring into an abyss. His eyes flashed yellow for a split second, vertical slits replacing his pupils before returning to blue. Orochimaru's summon, a giant snake named Manda, recoiled in pure terror. The snake's survival instincts overrode even Orochimaru's control, and it dispelled itself back to its realm rather than face whatever Naruto was becoming. What is this? Orochimaru hissed. This chakra, it's not just the Nine Tails. It's something else, something that shouldn't exist in this world. Naruto's hand moved to his side, and Zangetsu materialized. But the blade looked different now. The white cloth wrappings had turned dark red, and the spiritual energy radiating from it felt corrupted. Dangerous. Stay away from my teammates, Naruto said, his voice distorted, layered with something that sounded like a hollow screech mixed with the Nine Tails' growl, Orochimaru's eyes widened with manic delight. Fascinating! The Jinchuriki has awakened something beyond mere chakra. I must study you! I must have you! He lunged, moving with speed that would have killed most Jonin. Naruto met him head-on. The clash of Zangetsu against Orochimaru's Kusanagi sword created a shockwave that flattened trees in a 100-foot radius. Spiritual energy wrestled with chakra, two fundamentally different power systems grinding against each other. Orochimaru's grin widened. Yes! More! Show me more! Naruto swung Zangetsu in a wide arc. Getsu Tensho! The crescent wave was darker than usual, tinged with red and black from the Nine Tails' influence. It carved through the forest like divine judgment, forcing Orochimaru to use a body replacement technique to avoid being bisected. Such power in one so young, Orochimaru purred. But raw power isn't enough. You lack control, experience, training. He was right. Naruto could feel the Nine Tails' hatred trying to overwhelm him, trying to seize control. The spiritual pressure was becoming unstable, fluctuating wildly. Control it, Naruto thought desperately. Like Ichigo controlled his hollow. Like he learned to work with it instead of against it. But Ichigo had years to master that technique. Naruto had seconds. Orochimaru struck while Naruto was distracted, his neck extending impossibly long and his fangs sinking into Sasuke's neck. The Uchiha screamed as cursed chakra flooded his system, forming a three-tomoe pattern on his skin. No! Naruto's rage exploded. The spiritual pressure quadrupled, and for a moment something appeared on his face. A flicker of white material, like bone beginning to form. A hollow mask starting to manifest. Orochimaru saw it and laughed with delight. Magnificent! The Jinchuriki is becoming something new. Something beyond ninja. I must have. Anko Mitarashi crashed through the trees, covered in curse marks and furious. Orochimaru, you snake bastard! The distraction gave Orochimaru pause. He looked between Naruto, still struggling to control the mix of spiritual pressure and Nine Tails chakra, and Anko, calculating odds. Another time then, Orochimaru said. He looked at Naruto with eyes that promised future horror. We'll meet again, Naruto Uzumaki, and when we do, I'll uncover all your secrets. He vanished into the forest. Anko rushed to check on Team 7. Sasuke was unconscious, the curse mark burning on his neck. Sakura was traumatized but unhurt. And Naruto stood holding Zangetsu, the blade slowly returning to its normal appearance as he forced his spiritual pressure back under control. The yellow eyes faded. The hint of mask disappeared, but the memory of how close he'd come to losing control remained. You okay, kid? Anko asked carefully. Yeah, Naruto lied. Just tired. They made it to the tower. Sasuke recovered, though the curse mark remained sealed on his neck. Kakashi arrived to help contain it, teaching Sasuke a technique to suppress its influence. But Naruto knew the real challenge was coming. The preliminaries, where he'd have to fight without revealing his full power. Where he'd have to hold back while still advancing. It was going to be interesting. The preliminaries took place in a large arena beneath the tower. 21 Genin had made it through the Forest of Death. They would fight in randomized one-on-one matches, with winners advancing to the finals. Naruto's first opponent was Kiba Inuzuka. The Inuzuka clan heir grinned confidently, his dog Akamaru perched on his head. This'll be easy. Everyone knows you're the class clown, Naruto. I'll take you down quick. Naruto planted Zangetsu in the ground, deliberately keeping it in its unreleased state where it just looked like a large wrapped sword. Tell you what, Kiba, I won't even use the blade, just hand to hand. You're that confident? Kiba's grin turned predatory. Fine, I'll show you what a real ninja can do. Akamaru, let's go! The dog transformed into a copy of Kiba. They launched into their signature technique, fang over fang, spinning like twin drills that tore through the air toward Naruto. Ichigo's combat instincts took over. Naruto's eyes tracked the spinning forms, seeing the pattern, the timing, the exact moment when both would be vulnerable. He waited until they were inches away, then moved. He caught both spinning forms, one in each hand, and absorbed their momentum using spiritual energy reinforcement. Then he slammed both Kiba and Akamaru into the concrete floor with enough force to crack it. The technique stopped instantly. Kiba and Akamaru lay in crater-shaped impressions, unconscious. The entire arena went silent. Winner, Naruto Uzumaki, Hayate Gecko announced, coughing. Naruto walked back to the observation area as if he'd done nothing unusual. Told you I didn't need the sword, Databayo. In the stands, Jonin instructors exchanged looks. Kakashi smiled beneath his mask, proud but unsurprised. Guy looked impressed. Asuma raised an eyebrow. Kurenai seemed thoughtful, and in the shadows, Orochimaru watched with hungry eyes. The preliminaries continued. Sasuke fought Yoroi, easily defeating him with improved taijutsu and fire jutsu. Sakura lost to Ino in a close match. Shikamaru beat Ken with creative use of his shadow possession. Then came the match everyone was anticipating. Neji Hyuga versus Hinata Hyuga. Naruto watched as Neji brutalized his cousin, spouting his philosophy about fate being predetermined, about the weak staying weak and the strong staying strong. He watched Hinata refuse to give up despite injuries, despite pain, despite Neji's palm strikes shutting down her chakra points one by one. And when Neji went for a killing blow, prevented only by the Jonin instructor's intervention, Naruto felt his spiritual pressure surge with anger. Naruto, Kakashi said quietly, placing a hand on his student's shoulder. Control yourself. He almost killed her, Naruto said through gritted teeth. His own cousin, all because of some bullshit about fate. And if you lose control here, you'll be disqualified. Save your anger for your match. Because the next pairing had already been announced. Naruto Uzumaki versus Neji Hyuga. Naruto stepped into the arena, facing the Hyuga prodigy. Neji's Byakugan was already active, veins bulging around his eyes. The dead last versus the genius, Neji said coldly. This won't take long. Fate has already decided the outcome. Fate? Naruto's laugh was harsh. You actually believe that? That people can't change? That your birth determines everything? It's reality. The weak cannot become strong. The strong cannot become weak. I was born a genius. You were born a failure. That cannot change. Naruto's spiritual pressure began to rise. You know what's funny? In the memories I have, there was someone like you. Someone who believed he was powerless to change anything. Who thought fate had decided his story before he even started. What happened to him? Neji asked mockingly. He met me. Naruto's eyes hardened. And I showed him that fate is just an excuse people use when they're too scared to fight for what they want. That your past doesn't define your future unless you let it. Empty words from someone who's never. Begin, Hayate announced. Neji moved first. His gentle fist strikes aimed at Naruto's tenketsu points. The Byakugan let him see the chakra network, let him strike with surgical precision. He landed 3 hits, 5, 10. Naruto staggered, feeling his chakra points being sealed. Normal ninja would be helpless now, unable to mold chakra for jutsu. But Naruto wasn't using just chakra. He grinned, wiping blood from his lip. That's supposed to stop me? His spiritual pressure exploded outward, raw and uncontrolled. The force of it pushed against the sealed tenketsu points from the inside, forcibly reopening them through sheer power. Neji's eyes widened behind his Byakugan. Impossible! The tenketsu can't be reopened by force. Normal chakra can't, Naruto agreed. But spiritual energy doesn't play by your rules, Dadabayo. He summoned Zangetsu. The massive blade appeared in a flash of blue light and Naruto charged. Neji activated rotation, spinning in place while emitting chakra from every tenketsu point, creating an absolute defense that deflected all physical attacks. Naruto didn't care. He swung Zangetsu straight through the rotation, spiritual energy cutting through chakra like paper. The blade stopped inches from Neji's face, the Hyuga frozen in shock. You think you're the only one who suffered? Naruto's voice was quiet but carried across the arena. You think being born into the branch family makes you special? I was born with a demon sealed inside me. Had an entire village hate me for something I didn't choose. Spent 12 years wondering why everyone wanted me dead. He pulled Zangetsu back and planted it in the ground. But you know what? I didn't let that define me. I didn't give up and blame fate. I kept fighting, kept training, kept believing I could become someone worth acknowledging. Neji's hands trembled. You don't understand the Hyuga. I understand that you're using fate as an excuse. Naruto interrupted. You're angry about the branch family system, about the seal on your forehead, about your father's death. That's all valid. But hiding behind fate decided everything just means you're too scared to actually try changing things. I'm not scared. Then prove it. Naruto's spiritual pressure surged. Fight me with everything you've got. Show me that you're more than just a victim of circumstances. Show me the strength that's actually inside you instead of the weakness you hide behind. Something cracked in Neji's expression. Raw emotion bled through his cold facade. Pain, anger, grief, all the things he'd buried beneath his philosophy of predestination. You want to see my full power? Neji's chakra exploded. Fine! He came at Naruto with everything. 8 trigrams, 64 palms, each strike aimed at vital points. But Naruto had Ichigo's combat experience. Reflexes honed through battles against enemies who could kill with a touch. He dodged, weaved, blocked with blood veni when dodging wasn't possible. And then he went on the offensive. Zangetsu swung in devastating arcs, each movement backed by spiritual pressure that made the air scream. Neji's rotation deflected some strikes, but Naruto's power was too overwhelming. Cracks appeared in the chakra shell. This is what it means to fight fate, Naruto shouted, bringing Zangetsu down in a vertical slash that shattered Neji's rotation completely and slammed him into the ground. Neji lay in a crater, breathing hard, his Byakugan deactivated. How can someone like you? Someone like me? Naruto dismissed Zangetsu and offered his hand. I'm not special, Neji. I'm just someone who refuses to give up, who refuses to let other people decide what I can or can't do. And you can be the same if you stop hiding behind excuses. Neji stared at the offered hand for a long moment. Then slowly, he took it. Naruto pulled him to his feet. The crowd erupted in cheers, amazed by the display of power and sportsmanship. Winner, Naruto Uzumaki, Hayate announced. As Naruto walked back to the observation area, he caught Hinata's eyes. The shy Hyuga girl was crying, but she smiled at him, a genuine, grateful smile. He grinned back. That was one person saved from despair. One step closer to the kind of world where everyone could acknowledge each other. The preliminaries concluded. The matchups for the finals were set, and Naruto had exactly 1 month to prepare for the biggest challenge yet. Training for the finals was intense. Jiraiya took Naruto to a remote location outside the village, away from prying eyes. Here, they could train without worrying about revealing Naruto's true capabilities. All right, kid, Jiraiya said, pulling out a scroll. You've got raw power that would make most jonin jealous. But power without control is just destruction waiting to happen. We're going to work on precision. Precision? Naruto bounced on his heels. I thought we'd be learning awesome new techniques. Precision is an awesome new technique. Jiraiya pointed at a tree 50 yards away. See that leaf? Third branch from the top, left side. Use your Getsuga Tensho to cut only that leaf. Nothing else. Naruto stared. That's impossible. Getsuga Tensho is a wide area attack. Is it? Jiraiya's grin was challenging. Or have you just been using it that way because you haven't tried controlling it? Ichigo's memories show him condensing the attack to different sizes, right? Naruto accessed the memories. Jiraiya was right. Ichigo had learned to control the technique's size and power, from room-clearing waves to precise cutting slashes. Okay, Naruto said, summoning Zangetsu. Let's try it. He spent 3 days just working on that one exercise. The first attempts obliterated entire sections of forest. Then he managed to hit just the tree. Then just the branch. Finally, after hundreds of tries, he cut only the leaf. Excellent, Jiraiya said. Now do it from 100 yards, while moving, while someone's attacking you. Training continued. Jiraiya taught Naruto proper chakra control techniques, helping him blend spiritual energy and chakra more efficiently. They worked on Shunpo combinations, creating movement patterns that were unpredictable. They practiced using blood veni selectively, hardening only specific body parts to maintain mobility while maximizing defense. But the most important training was mental. You've got 2 souls merged in one body, Jiraiya said one evening over dinner. That's incredible, but also dangerous. What happens if they start conflicting? If Naruto wants one thing and Ichigo wants another? They won't, Naruto said confidently. We want the same things: protection, bonds, making sure nobody suffers alone. Maybe now. But what about when you have to make hard choices? When protecting everyone isn't possible? Naruto thought about Ichigo's memories, the times he'd had to choose between saving one person or many, between doing what was right and doing what was necessary. Then, I'll make the choice I can live with, Naruto said quietly. Ichigo taught me that you can't save everyone, but that doesn't mean you stop trying. It means you do your best and accept the consequences. Jiraiya studied him with an unreadable expression. You're more mature than any 12-year-old has a right to be. I'm also technically over 30 if you count Ichigo's years, Naruto said with a grin. Don't remind me. Makes me feel old. They also addressed the Nine Tails issue. When Orochimaru attacked, you almost lost control, Jiraiya said seriously. The fox's chakra mixed with your spiritual energy and created something dangerous. We need to make sure that doesn't happen again. How? Naruto asked. By confronting it directly. Jiraiya brought Naruto into his mindscape, the sewer-like prison where the Nine Tails was sealed. The massive fox glared down at Naruto through the bars of its cage. So you finally come to visit, brat, Kurama growled. What do you want? I want to understand you, Naruto said simply. You're sealed inside me, part of me, whether either of us likes it or not. So instead of fighting each other, why don't we figure out how to work together? Work together? The fox laughed, bitter and harsh. Why would I help a pathetic human? Because I'm not going to treat you like a prisoner, Naruto said. Ichigo's memories taught me that power forced into submission becomes dangerous, but power accepted as part of yourself becomes strength. He approached the cage, placing his hand on the bars. Kurama's eyes narrowed. You've been sealed here for 12 years. Hated, feared, treated like a monster. I know how that feels. I lived it too. Naruto's voice was gentle. But I'm not the fourth Hokage. I'm not going to just use you and ignore you. If we're stuck together, we might as well make the best of it, Databayo. You're either incredibly brave or incredibly stupid. Both, probably, Naruto grinned. So what do you say? Want to try not killing each other and see how it goes? Kurama was silent for a long time. Then slowly, one massive claw extended through the bars, the tip of its finger touching Naruto's hand. Fine, but don't expect me to like you, brat. Fair enough. The connection formed, not a full partnership, but a ceasefire, an agreement to coexist. And when Naruto left the mindscape, he felt different, more complete, like a missing piece had clicked into place. How'd it go? Jiraiya asked. Better than expected. Naruto flexed his hands, feeling chakra flow more smoothly. I think we're going to be okay. The final week of training focused on a new technique. You've been relying on Shikai, Jiraiya said, but Ichigo's memories show another level. Bankai. What's stopping you from using it? Control, Naruto admitted. Bankai requires perfect synchronization between the wielder and the Zanpakuto. Ichigo achieved it through intensive training and life or death battles. I've got his memories, but not his experience. Then we'll create the experience. Jiraiya summoned a toad, Gamabunta, the boss summon. The massive toad looked down at Naruto with skeptical eyes. This is the brat who wants to learn Bankai? Gamabunta rumbled. He looks scrawny. He's stronger than he looks, Jiraiya assured. Prove it, kid. Fight me. If you can land one solid hit, I'll help you train. Naruto summoned Zangetsu and grinned. You're on, Databayo! The fight was brutal. Gamabunta was massive, fast, and experienced. His sword was longer than Naruto's entire body. But Naruto had Shunpo, Blipvini, and determination. He used the environment, bouncing off trees and rocks to create angles of attack. He feinted with Getsuga Tensho to create openings. And finally, after an hour of intense combat, he managed to land a clean hit on Gamabunta's nose with the flat of Zangetsu's blade. Not bad, brat, Gamabunta said, rubbing his nose. All right, I'll help, but this is going to hurt. Training for Bankai was different than any training Naruto had experienced. It required entering a meditative state while fighting, communicating with Zangetsu while maintaining combat awareness, synchronizing his spiritual energy with the blade's essence. It was exhausting, painful. Sometimes Naruto felt like he was being torn apart and rebuilt from the inside out, but slowly progress came. He felt Zangetsu's presence more clearly, understood its nature, the refusal to give up, the protective instinct, the cutting edge that would slice through any obstacle. That was Zangetsu. That was also Ichigo. That was also Naruto. They were all the same. All aspects of one warrior who refused to let anyone hurt his precious people. On the final day before the exam, Naruto achieved it. He stood in a clearing, Zangetsu held before him. His spiritual pressure condensed, focused, crystallized into something pure and powerful. Bankai. The transformation was instantaneous. Black energy exploded upward in a pillar that pierced the clouds. When it cleared, Naruto stood transformed, wearing a tattered black coat that flowed behind him like a cloak. In his hands, Zangetsu had changed from a massive cleaver to a sleek black katana, elegant and deadly, Tensa Zangetsu, the compressed form of Bankai, trading raw power for incredible speed and precision. Jiraiya whistled. Well, that's impressive. Naruto moved, and the world blurred. He appeared 100 feet away in less than a heartbeat, then back to his original position. The speed was incomprehensible, beyond even Shunpo. This is... Naruto looked at his hands, at the black coat, at the Tana. This is amazing. It's also draining, Jiraiya warned. Bankai consumes massive amounts of energy. You'll need to use it strategically, not spam it. Got it. Naruto released the Bankai, reverting to normal. No, save it for when I really need it. Exactly. Jiraiya clapped him on the shoulder. Now get some rest. Tomorrow's the big day. Naruto nodded, but as he lay in his tent that night, he couldn't sleep. Tomorrow, he'd fight in the finals. Tomorrow, he'd show the entire village what Naruto Uzumaki could do. Tomorrow, everything changed. The day of the finals arrived with perfect weather. The arena was packed with spectators. Civilians, ninja, dignitaries from other villages. The Hokage sat in his viewing box alongside the Kazekage, who would later be revealed as Orochimaru in disguise. The competitors stood in the arena. Naruto, Sasuke, Neji, Shikamaru, Gaara, and others. Each represented different villages, different philosophies, different dreams. Naruto's first match was against Neji again, a rematch from the preliminaries. The Hyuga prodigy had changed in the month since their last fight. He stood straighter, with less bitterness in his eyes. Their conversation had affected him, made him question his beliefs about fate. I've been training, Neji said as they faced each other. I won't lose the same way twice. Good, Naruto said, grinning. I'd be disappointed if it was easy, Databayo. The match began. Neji had improved significantly. His gentle fist techniques were faster, more precise. He developed new combinations that targeted multiple tenketsu points simultaneously. His rotation had been refined, creating a more durable defense, but Naruto had achieved Bankai. He started in Shikai, using Zangetsu's massive blade to test Neji's defenses. The Hyuga responded well, using rotation to deflect strikes and countering with palm strikes aimed at Naruto's chakra network. For 5 minutes, they fought evenly. The crowd roared with approval, then Naruto decided to end it. You've gotten stronger, Neji, but I have too. He pointed Zangetsu forward. Bankai! The black energy pillar erupted. When it cleared, Naruto stood in his Bankai form, black coat flowing, sleek katana gleaming, and then he moved. Neji's Byakugan could barely track him. Naruto appeared behind the Hyuga, blade at his throat. Then he was in front, then to the side. Each movement was instantaneous, each position a death strike held back at the last second. This is Bankai, Naruto said, his voice echoing from multiple directions as he moved too fast to pin down. The compressed form of my soul's power. You can't match this speed, Neji. He appeared directly in front of Neji and tapped the Hyuga's forehead with one finger. The casual action, done at speeds that made tracking impossible, proved the point completely. I forfeit, Neji said, smiling despite his loss. You've surpassed anything I could achieve in 1 month. Congratulations, Naruto. Naruto released Bankai and offered his hand again. Keep training. Keep fighting your fate. One day you'll be strong enough to change the Hyuga clan from within. I will, Neji promised. The matches continued. Shikamaru fought Temari to a strategic draw before forfeiting because troublesome women aren't worth the effort. Sasuke demolished his opponent with improved fire jutsu and curse mark enhancements he learned to control. Then came the match everyone anticipated. Sasuke Uchiha versus Gaara of the Desert. The match never finished. During the fight, as Gaara began losing control of his inner demon, Orochimaru's invasion began. Sound and sand forces attacked Konoha simultaneously. The arena erupted into chaos. Naruto immediately went into combat mode. His spiritual pressure exploded outward, knocking out dozens of sound ninja who'd infiltrated the civilian sections. He used Shunpo to appear throughout the arena, protecting civilians and evacuating wounded. Naruto, Kakashi appeared beside him. The Hokage is fighting the Kazekage, who's actually Orochimaru in disguise. He's trapped in a barrier with the Sound Four. We need to pursue Sasuke and... I'm on it! Naruto was already moving. He'd seen Sasuke chase after Gaara, who'd fled the arena in a panic as his sand transformation began. Using Shunpo, Naruto caught up to Sasuke in the forest. The Uchiha was engaged with Gaara, who'd partially transformed into his tailed beast form. "Sasuke, fall back!" Naruto shouted. "No, I need to prove I can." Gaara's sand claw smashed toward Sasuke. Naruto appeared in front of his teammate, summoning Zangetsu and blocking the strike. The impact created a crater 20 feet wide. "I said fall back!" Naruto's spiritual pressure flared. "This is beyond you right now." Sasuke wanted to argue, but the power radiating from Naruto, the sheer overwhelming force, made him pause. This wasn't about pride. This was survival. "Fine," Sasuke said, retreating to help Sakura and Kakashi with the invasion forces. Naruto turned to face Gaara fully. The Jinchuriki was in pain, his sand transformation unstable, his grip on sanity slipping. "It hurts," Gaara screamed. "Nobody understands. Everyone fears me. Everyone hates me. So I'll prove my existence by killing everyone." "I understand," Naruto said quietly. "What?" "I understand being feared, being hated, having a monster sealed inside you that everyone treats like it defines who you are." Naruto dismissed Zangetsu and walked forward, hands at his sides. "I'm a Jinchuriki too, Gaara. I've got the 9 tails sealed inside me." Gaara's eyes widened. You're like me?" "Yeah, but we made different choices." Naruto's voice was gentle. "You decided to embrace the hatred, to become the monster they feared. I decided to prove them wrong, to show that I'm more than just a container." "How?" Gaara's transformation began receding. "How do you bear it? The loneliness? The pain?" "By finding people who see past the demon. By making bonds with people who accept me for who I am, not what's inside me." Naruto smiled. "You could do the same, Gaara. You could find people who care about you, who see your worth." I don't know how." "Start by stopping the attack on Konoha. Help us defend instead of destroy. Show your village that you can be more than a weapon." Gaara stared at him for a long moment. Then, slowly, the sand armor crumbled away completely, revealing the terrified boy beneath. "Okay," Gaara whispered. "I'll try." They returned to the village together. Gaara used his sand to help evacuate civilians and protect them from the invading forces. The sand ninja, seeing their Jinchuriki helping the enemy, began to question their orders. At the center of the village, the barrier containing the Hokage and Orochimaru shattered. Hiruzen Sarutobi stood victorious but gravely wounded. Orochimaru had escaped, but at great cost. The sound and sand forces, seeing their leader flee, began retreating. The invasion was over. Naruto found the Hokage lying on a rooftop, his body failing. Jiraiya knelt beside him, tears streaming down his face. "Naruto," Hiruzen said weakly. "Come here." Naruto approached, his eyes stinging. "Old man." "I'm proud of you," Hiruzen said. "You've become more than I ever dreamed. Strong, compassionate, a true protector." His breathing grew labored. "You'll make a fine Hokage someday." "Don't talk like that. We can heal you." "We can. It's my time, Naruto." Hiruzen smiled. "I've lived a full life protected, the village I love, and now," his eyes closed, "I can rest, knowing it's in good hands." The third Hokage died surrounded by people who loved him. Naruto stood at the funeral 3 days later, watching as thousands of villagers paid their respects. He'd cried all his tears already. Now he just felt hollow. Ichigo's memories provided context. He'd attended funerals before, lost people he cared about. But it never got easier. Each loss was a wound that never fully healed. "You okay?" Sasuke asked quietly. The Uchiha stood beside him, also dressed in black. "No," Naruto said honestly, "but I will be." He believed in you, the old man. Sasuke's voice was soft. "Even when nobody else did." "Yeah." Naruto touched the forehead protector on his head. "That's why I have to keep going. Have to become the Hokage he knew I could be." "You will." Sasuke looked at him, something like respect in his dark eyes. "I believe that now." It was the first truly kind thing Sasuke had said to him. Naruto managed a small smile. "Thanks, Sasuke." They stood together in silence, two teammates united in grief and determination. 1 month after the invasion, a new crisis emerged. Itachi Uchiha and Kasame Hoshigaki appeared in Konoha seeking Naruto. They were members of an organization called the Akatsuki, and their goal was to capture all 9-tailed beasts. Naruto encountered them in a hotel, alongside Jiraiya. The moment he saw Itachi, felt the oppressive presence of the Sharingan wielder, Naruto understood why Sasuke was so driven by revenge. This man had slaughtered an entire clan, had tortured his little brother, had taken everything from Sasuke and left him drowning in hatred. "Naruto Uzumaki," Itachi said, his voice emotionless. "Come with us. Resistance is futile." Not happening, Naruto said, his spiritual pressure rising. I don't care who you are or what organization you work for. You're not taking me anywhere. Kasame grinned, hefting his massive sword Samahata. Feisty kid, I like it. Let me cut him down, Itachi. No. Itachi's Sharingan spun into the Mangekyo pattern. I'll handle this. The Genjutsu hit Naruto like a freight train. Illusions of torture, pain, suffering that lasted for 72 hours in the space of a second. Normal ninja would have their minds shattered. But Naruto had Ichigo's mental fortitude, forged through battles against beings that could manipulate reality itself. He pushed back against the Genjutsu with pure spiritual pressure, forcibly breaking Itachi's technique. Impossible, Itachi murmured. You broke my Tsukuyomi? Your illusions can't hold someone with two souls, Naruto said, summoning Zangetsu. My mind is too crowded for your tricks to work properly. He swung the massive blade. Itachi dodged, but Naruto was already moving with Shunpo, appearing behind the Uchiha. Kasame intercepted, blocking with Samahata. The clash of Zangetsu against Samahata created shockwaves. Kasame's eyes widened as his chakra-absorbing sword failed to drain Naruto's spiritual energy. What the hell kind of chakra is this? Kasame demanded. Not chakra, Naruto said, pushing harder. Something your sword can't eat. Jiraiya engaged Itachi, the two exchanging ninjutsu at high speeds. But it was clear Itachi was holding back, not truly committed to the fight. Then Sasuke appeared. The Uchiha burst through the wall, Chidori crackling in his hand, eyes locked on his brother with pure hatred. Itachi! Itachi looked at his little brother with that same emotionless expression. You're still weak, Sasuke. The words made Sasuke snap. He charged wildly, abandoning all technique in favor of raw aggression. Itachi dodged easily, then kicked Sasuke in the chest hard enough to send him flying. You lack hatred, Itachi said coldly. You'll never defeat me like this. Naruto appeared between them, catching Sasuke before he could hit the wall. That's enough. His spiritual pressure exploded outward with such force that the entire hotel shook. Cracks appeared in the walls. Windows shattered. The sheer overwhelming presence made even Itachi take a step backward. You want to torture someone? Naruto's eyes burned with fury. Try me, but leave Sasuke alone. He suffered enough because of you. For the first time, Itachi's expression changed. Slight surprise crossed his features. You'd protect him, even knowing what he'll become if he continues down this path? I'll deal with Sasuke's path. That's what teammates do. Naruto pointed Zangetsu at Itachi. But you're not welcome here. Leave now or I'll make you leave. Kasame laughed. Big words from a kid. Kasame, Itachi said quietly. We're leaving. What? But we haven't. Now, the command in Itachi's voice brooked no argument. The Akatsuki members retreated, using a smokescreen to cover their escape. When it cleared, they were gone. Naruto helped Sasuke to his feet. The Uchiha was shaking, tears streaming down his face. Whether from pain or frustration, Naruto couldn't tell. I wasn't strong enough, Sasuke whispered. Even with all my training, I couldn't even touch him. You will be, Naruto said firmly. But not if you keep charging and blinded by hatred. Itachi wants you to hate him. He's using your emotions against you. You don't understand? I understand better than you think. Naruto's voice softened. I've got memories of fighting people who were stronger, faster, more experienced. You know how I beat them? By being smarter, by working with allies, by refusing to let anger control my actions. Sasuke looked at him, and for a moment, Naruto saw the conflict in his eyes. The desire for revenge warring with the desire to be better than his brother. Teach me, Sasuke said quietly. Teach me to be stronger, not just physically, but he struggled for words. But the way you are, controlled, focused. It was the first time Sasuke had ever asked for help. Naruto smiled. Okay, but we do it my way. No shortcuts, no curse mark, just hard work and proper training. Deal. Jiraiya watched the exchange with a mixture of pride and concern. Naruto was growing into someone remarkable, powerful, compassionate, wise beyond his years. But the challenges ahead would only get harder. The Akatsuki wanted him. Orochimaru wanted Sasuke. And the ninja world was entering a period of instability that could lead to another great war. But if anyone could navigate those challenges, it was Naruto Uzumaki, the boy who carried the soul of a soul reaper. The Jinchuriki who befriended his demon, the dead last who'd become one of the strongest ninja of his generation. 3 months after the Itachi incident, Jiraiya approached Naruto with a serious expression. "Pack your things," the Sannin said. "We're leaving the village." "What? Why?" "Because I'm taking you on a training journey. 3 years, traveling the continent, learning everything I can teach you about being a ninja." Jiraiya's expression grew grave. "The Akatsuki will come for you again. Orochimaru is still out there, and from what I've learned through my spy network, bigger threats are emerging. You need to be ready." "What about Team 7? Sasuke will train with Kakashi. Sakura has requested to study under Tsunade once we find her, which will be our first stop actually. Your team will grow stronger in their own ways." Jiraiya smiled. "But when you reunite, you'll all be different. Better." Naruto looked at the village, his home, the place he'd fought so hard to protect. Leaving felt wrong. But Jiraiya was right. He needed to grow stronger for the Akatsuki, for the threats to come, for the dream of becoming Hokage. "Okay," Naruto said, "let's do it." Before leaving, he met with his teammates one last time. Sakura hugged him, tears in her eyes. "Don't die out there, you idiot." "Wouldn't dream of it, Databayo." Sasuke offered his hand. "Get stronger. When we meet again, I want to see how far you've come." Naruto shook it. "Same to you. And Sasuke, don't do anything stupid while I'm gone. No running off to Orochimaru for power." "I won't." Sasuke's voice carried conviction. "I'll find my own path to strength, the right way." They parted as friends, as teammates, as rivals who pushed each other to be better. Naruto walked through the village gates beside Jiraiya, his backpack full of supplies, Zangetsu secured across his back in its sealed form. "Any last words for the village?" Jiraiya asked. Naruto turned, looking back at Konoha one more time. The place that had hated him, then accepted him. The place that had given him bonds worth protecting. "I'll be back," he said simply. "And when I return, I'll be strong enough to protect everyone. That's my promise. That's my ninja way." As they walked down the road, leaving Konoha behind, Naruto felt Ichigo's memories stirring. The Soul Reaper had left his home too, traveling to Soul Society to save a friend, to Hueco Mundo to rescue a comrade, to dimensions beyond imagination, to protect what he loved. Now Naruto would do the same. He was Naruto Uzumaki. He was Ichigo Kurosaki. He was a Jinchuriki, a Soul Reaper, a ninja, and a protector. And his story was just beginning. The training journey would take him to places he'd never imagined. He'd learn techniques that would shake the foundations of the ninja world. He'd face enemies that would test him to his absolute limits. He'd grow from a talented genin into a warrior capable of standing against the greatest threats in existence. He'd master Bankai completely, learn to control the Nine-Tails chakra, develop new techniques that blended ninja arts with Soul Reaper abilities. He'd become the bridge between two worlds, the fusion of two warriors, the embodiment of determination that refused to break. But that was a story for another time. For now, Naruto Uzumaki walked down the road with his teacher, heading toward unknown adventures and challenges that would forge him into the legend he was meant to become. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and red. Tomorrow would bring new trials. But tonight, Naruto smiled, because he was exactly where he needed to be, doing exactly what he was meant to do. Moving forward, getting stronger, protecting his precious people, one step at a time, one battle at a time, one promise at a time. That was his ninja way. That was Ichigo's way. That was their way. And nothing, not the Akatsuki, not Orochimaru, not fate itself, would stop them from achieving their dreams. The journey had only just begun. 2.5 years later, the road back to Konoha felt different beneath Naruto's feet. He was taller now, nearly 6 feet, with broader shoulders and a more defined build that came from relentless training. His orange pants remained, a stubborn declaration of who he'd always been, but draped over them was a tattered black coat that flowed like liquid shadow with each step. Zangetsu rested across his back in its sealed form, the wrapped blade feeling as natural as breathing. Jiraiya walked beside him, significantly older looking than when they'd left. The Sannin's hair had grayed further, and new lines creased his weathered face. 3 years of pushing Naruto to his absolute limits had taken its toll on both of them. "You ready for this, kid?" Jiraiya asked, eyeing the gates of Konoha as they appeared through the morning mist. Naruto's spiritual pressure flickered unconsciously, making the air shimmer around him. He'd grown so powerful that controlling it had become second nature. like breathing. More than ready, Databayo. The training had been brutal beyond comprehension. Jiraiya had taken him to places where they could fight without restraint. Remote islands, abandoned battlefields, sealed dimensions that existed between the living world and Soul Society's influence on reality. Places where Naruto could unleash his full power without worrying about collateral damage. He'd mastered his hollow mask completely. 11 minutes. That was how long he could maintain the white bone facade that transformed him into something beyond human. The first time he'd successfully materialized it, the power surge had created a crater a mile wide. Now he could activate and deactivate it at will, using its enhanced speed and power strategically, rather than as a last resort. His Bankai had evolved too. Tensa Zangetsu felt like an extension of his soul now, the sleek black katana responding to his thoughts faster than conscious command. He could maintain it for hours without the crippling exhaustion that had plagued him initially. But the real breakthrough had come 6 months ago, when he'd finally succeeded in combining Zangetsu with Rasengan. The technique had nearly killed him the first 17 times he'd attempted it. Spiritual energy and chakra were fundamentally different power systems. Trying to merge them was like mixing oil and water. But Naruto had persisted, remembering Ichigo's philosophy. Impossible just meant nobody had succeeded yet. The result was devastating. A sphere of rotating spiritual energy wrapped around Rasengan's core, creating a technique that could tear through virtually any defense. He'd named it Rasengetsu, a fusion that represented both halves of his merged soul. "Think Sasuke's gotten stronger?" Naruto asked as they approached the gates. Jiraiya snorted. "Kid's been training with Kakashi for 3 years. He'd better have improved." But the Sanin's expression grew serious. "You're on a completely different level now, Naruto. Most Jonin couldn't handle you at 10% power. Hell, some Kage would struggle against your current abilities." Naruto didn't respond with bravado or his usual enthusiasm. Instead, he just nodded quietly. Power had stopped being something to brag about somewhere between his 1000th hollow mask training session and the day he'd accidentally destroyed an entire mountain range while perfecting his ultimate technique. Power was responsibility. Power was the weight of knowing you could save people or fail to save them despite having the strength of gods. Ichigo's memories had taught him that lesson over and over again. The gate guards recognized them immediately. Izumo and Kotetsu's eyes widened as they registered Naruto's transformation. The confident posture, the obvious muscle definition, the blade that radiated spiritual pressure even in its sealed state. "In Naruto?" Izumo stammered. "Is that really you?" "Last time I checked, Databayo." Naruto's grin was the same as always, bright, infectious, genuine. "Miss me? You look different." 3 years of training will do that. Naruto touched Zangetsu's hilt unconsciously. "So what I miss? Village still standing? Nobody blow it up while I was gone?" Kotetsu laughed nervously. "Actually, it's been pretty quiet. Well, except for..." "Later," Jiraiya interrupted. "The brat needs to report to Tsunade first. Official protocol and all that." They walked through the village, and Naruto felt something warm settle in his chest. Konoha looked the same. The ramen stands, the training grounds, the Hokage monument watching over everything. Home. This was home, despite all the years of hatred and isolation he'd endured here. Because now he had bonds, people who'd acknowledged him, friends worth protecting. The Hokage's office hadn't changed. Tsunade sat behind the desk, blonde hair pulled back, paperwork stacked impossibly high. She looked up when they entered, and her expression shifted from administrative boredom to genuine shock. "Naruto?" She stood, circling the desk to get a better look. "You've grown." "Told you I would," Naruto said proudly. "I'm taller than you now." Barely, but Tsunade was smiling. Her eyes traced the black coat, the confident stance, the spiritual pressure that made her own considerable chakra feel small by comparison. "Jiraiya, what the hell did you do to him?" "Helped him unlock his full potential," Jiraiya said simply. "The kid was already a monster. I just gave him the tools to control it." Tsunade's expression grew serious. "Good, because we're going to need that power." She pulled out a scroll, unrolling it across her desk. The Akatsuki have been making moves. They captured and extracted the one tail from Sunagakure 3 days ago. Naruto's spiritual pressure spiked violently, cracking the windows. "Gaara?" Alive, barely. They extracted Shukaku but left him breathing. We received an emergency request for assistance from the sand. Tsunade's eyes met his. I'm assembling a rescue team. You interested? When do we leave? Tomorrow at dawn. Team Kakashi will go. You, Sakura, and Kakashi himself. You'll rendezvous with Team Guy at the border. She paused. Naruto, these aren't ordinary missing nin. The Akatsuki members are S-rank criminals, each one capable of destroying villages single-handedly, even with your new abilities. I'll bring Gaara back, Naruto said flatly. His eyes had shifted, still blue but with an intensity that made Tsunade unconsciously step back. Nobody takes my friends and gets away with it. That's my promise. The killing intent in his voice was palpable. This wasn't the hyperactive genin who'd left 3 years ago. This was a warrior who'd stared death in the face and refused to blink. Tsunade nodded slowly. Dismissed. Get some rest. You leave at dawn. Naruto found Sakura at the hospital, working a shift as a medical ninja. She changed too. Pink hair longer now, wearing medical scrubs, her chakra control so refined he could sense it from 3 blocks away. Sakura, he called, waving. She turned, and her expression went through several emotions in rapid succession. Surprise, disbelief, joy, then embarrassment as she realized she was staring. Naruto? Oh my God, you're huge, he laughed. 3 years of training will do that. You look different too. Did you grow out your hair? A little. Sakura approached, eyeing him critically with her medical ninja's gaze. Your chakra feels strange, denser. And what's with the coat? Long story, short version, I got way stronger. He grinned. Heard we're going to save Gaara tomorrow. You ready? Sakura's expression hardened. More than ready. I've been training under Tsunade-sama. My chakra control is perfect now, and I can hit hard enough to crater concrete. Those Akatsuki bastards won't know what hit them. That's the spirit, Databayo. They talked for an hour, catching up on 3 years of separation. Sakura had grown into a formidable kunoichi, her strength surpassing even Tsunade's at the same age, her medical knowledge encyclopedic. She dated Sasuke briefly before he left on a training journey with Orochimaru's scattered notes, seeking power to kill Itachi without becoming like his brother. He wrote to me once, Sakura said quietly, said he needed to find his own path, that watching you get stronger made him realize revenge wouldn't be enough. Good, Naruto said. Sasuke deserves better than drowning in hatred. You really believe that? Even after everything Itachi did? I believe everyone deserves a chance to be more than their worst moment. Naruto touched Zangetsu's hilt. I've got memories of someone who learned that lesson the hard way. Sometimes the people who hurt us are hurting too. Doesn't excuse what they did, but understanding helps. Sakura studied him with new respect. You've grown up, Naruto. Had to. World doesn't wait for anyone to be ready. Team Kakashi assembled at dawn. Kakashi looked exactly the same, mask in place, Sharingan covered, orange book in hand. He glanced up when Naruto arrived, and his visible eye widened fractionally. Well, Kakashi said mildly, someone's been busy. You have no idea, Sensei. Naruto cracked his knuckles. So what's the plan? We travel to Sunagakure, assess Gaara's condition, then track the Akatsuki members who took Shukaku. Intelligence suggests they're heading to a hidden base in the land of rivers. Kakashi's expression grew serious. These opponents won't be like anything you've faced before. They're operating in pairs, each duo balanced to cover the other's weaknesses. Sounds fun, Naruto said cheerfully. Sakura punched his shoulder. This isn't a game, idiot. I know. Naruto's grin faded. But worrying won't help Gaara. Action will. So let's move, Databayo. They left Konoha at full speed, racing across rooftops and through forests. Naruto barely broke a sweat maintaining their pace. His stamina had increased exponentially during training. Kakashi kept glancing at him, clearly recalculating his students' capabilities. Team Guy met them at the border as planned. Rock Lee had grown taller and more muscular, his taijutsu refined to near perfection. Tenten carried more weapons than seemed physically possible. And Neji, Naruto, Neji said, activating his Byakugan. Then he deactivated it immediately, wincing. Your chakra? It's overwhelming. What happened to you? Training happened. You get stronger too? Some, Neji smiled slightly. Not enough to match you, apparently. They continued towards Sunagakure together, 8 ninja moving with purpose and determination. Naruto could feel his spiritual pressure building with each mile, anticipation and anger mixing into something potent. Gaara was his friend, someone who understood loneliness, who'd chosen to protect instead of destroy. The Akatsuki had hurt him, nearly killed him. They'd pay for that. Sunagakure was in chaos when they arrived. Medical ninjas swarmed around Gaara's unconscious form, pumping chakra into his system to keep him alive. Without Shikaku, the extraction should have killed him instantly, but Gaara's sheer willpower and the emergency intervention of Sans Medical Corps had kept his heart beating. Barely. Naruto knelt beside the bed, his hand hovering over Gaara's pale face. The red-haired Jinchuriki looked corpse-like, skin waxy and stretched too tight over bones. "They took Shikaku," Tamari said, her voice breaking. "Those monsters just ripped it out of him, laughed while they did it." "Who were they?" Kakashi asked. One called himself Deidara. Blonde hair, kept making explosions from clay. The other was Sasori of the Red Sand, used puppets. Kankuro, heavily bandaged from his own failed attempt to stop them, clenched his fists. "I couldn't even scratch Sasori. His poison almost killed me." Naruto's spiritual pressure began leaking unconsciously, making the room's temperature drop. Frost formed on the windows. Medical ninja backed away instinctively, their survival instincts screaming danger. "Naruto," Kakashi said quietly. "Control." "I'm trying," Naruto gritted out. He forced his power back down, compartmentalizing his rage like Ichigo had taught him. Emotion was fuel, but uncontrolled emotion was just destruction. Where'd they go? North, toward the land of rivers. Tamari's eyes hardened. "We're going after them. Gaara's my brother. I'm not letting this stand." "You'll stay here," Kakashi said firmly. "Your brother needs you alive, not killed trying to fight opponents beyond your level. We'll handle the Akatsuki." "Like hell." "He's right," Naruto interrupted. He stood, and despite being younger than Tamari, his presence dominated the room. "Stay with Gaara. Make sure he survives. We'll bring back the bastards who did this." Something in his tone, absolute certainty mixed with barely restrained violence, made Tamari swallow her protests. She nodded mutely. Team Kakashi and Team Guy left immediately, following the trail of chakra residue left by the Akatsuki members. Naruto's spiritual awareness made tracking easy. Deidara's explosive chakra left traces like burning oil, while Sasori's puppet strings had a mechanical quality that stood out against natural chakra signatures. "They're not even trying to hide," Neji observed, Byakugan active. "Either they're supremely confident or it's bait," Kakashi finished. "They want us to follow." "Don't care," Naruto said flatly. "Trap or not, we're taking them down." They found Deidara and Sasori 3 hours later, waiting at the entrance to a cave system. The Akatsuki members stood casually, black cloaks with red clouds billowing in the wind. Deidara grinned when he saw them. Well, well, the leaf sent babies to fight us. How insulting, yeah." "Where's Shikaku?" Naruto demanded. "Inside, being sealed. And you won't be interrupting that process, yeah." Deidara pulled clay from his pouches, molding it with mouths embedded in his palms. "My art will blow you all to pieces." Sasori said nothing, his puppet body motionless and menacing. Kakashi stepped forward. "Guy, take your team and find another entrance. No," Naruto said. He summoned Zangetsu in a flash of blue light, the massive wrapped blade appearing in his hands like it had always been there. "I'll handle this. You guys go save Shikaku." "Naruto, these are S rank." "I know what they are." Naruto's spiritual pressure exploded outward, a tangible wave that made the ground crack and the air scream. Deidara's clay bombs detonated prematurely from the sheer overwhelming force. "And I'm stronger." His eyes had changed. Harder, colder, the blue shifting towards something predatory. This was Ichigo's battle presence, the Soul Reaper's instinct to dominate opponents utterly. Kakashi hesitated, then nodded. 5 minutes. If you're not winning by then, I'll be done in 3, Dadabayo. The teams vanished into the cave system, leaving Naruto alone with the 2 Akatsuki members. Deidara laughed. "Confident brat. Let's see if you can back it up. Katsu." He threw a swarm of clay birds, each one rigged to explode. Naruto used Shunpo. He appeared above Deidara, Zangetsu already swinging down. The Akatsuki member barely dodged, eyes widening as he registered Naruto's speed. "What the? Too slow!" Naruto swung horizontally, the blade's passage creating a pressure wave that detonated all the clay birds harmlessly. "Your explosions? They're nothing compared to what I can do." He planted Zangetsu in the ground and took a stance, right fist pulled back. spiritual energy concentrating into a sphere of rotating black light. Rasengetsu! The technique slammed into Deidara before he could react. The fusion of Rasengan and spiritual energy tearing through his clay defenses like tissue paper. The Akatsuki member screamed as the attack sent him flying 200 yards, crashing through 3 trees before finally stopping. Sasori attacked while Naruto was exposed, launching 100 puppet strings that controlled 3 bodies simultaneously. The third Kazekage puppet, his personal body, and a human puppet of incredible craftsmanship. The third Kazekage puppet used iron sand, creating a wave of magnetic particles that could shred flesh and bone. It crashed toward Naruto like a tsunami. Naruto didn't move. Blut Vini. His skin hardened with spiritual energy, turning his entire body into an impenetrable shell. The iron sand struck him and stopped cold, unable to pierce his defense. Sasori's eyes widened, barely visible behind his puppet body's mask. Impossible. That technique should. Your puppets are impressive, Naruto interrupted. He gripped Zangetsu with both hands, spiritual pressure building along the blade until it glowed black and crimson. But they're still just puppets. He swung in a massive arc. Getsuga Tensho! The crescent wave of spiritual energy erupted from Zangetsu's edge, 20 feet wide and growing. It carved through the iron sand, obliterated the third Kazekage puppet, and slammed into Sasori's main body with devastating force. The puppet body shattered. Sasori's true form, a grotesque fusion of human flesh and puppet parts, his heart the only organic component remaining, was exposed. You. Sasori's voice was barely human. You destroyed my masterpiece. You hurt my friend, Naruto said coldly. He appeared next to Sasori using Shunpo, Zangetsu's point pressed against the puppet master's core. Give me one reason I shouldn't kill you right now. Deidara, struggling to his feet in the distance, shouted a warning. Sasori down to retreat, yeah? Sasori's mechanical face showed something like respect. You're strong, boy. Stronger than anyone I've fought in decades. But his core began glowing. I won't be captured. If I can't have victory, I'll have art. His body exploded, not with fire or force, but with thousands of poison needles that scattered in every direction. A suicide attack designed to take enemies with him. Naruto's spiritual pressure exploded outward, creating a barrier that caught every needle before they could penetrate. They clattered harmlessly to the ground around him. Pathetic, Naruto muttered. He turned toward Deidara. You want to try too? Or are you smart enough to run? Deidara stared at the destroyed battlefield, Sasori's core shattered, his own clay reserves depleted, and Naruto standing completely unharmed. The Leaf Ninja had defeated 2 S-rank criminals in less than 3 minutes. This isn't over. Yeah. Deidara formed a clay bird and fled skyward, vanishing into the clouds before Naruto could pursue. Naruto let him go. Chasing would mean abandoning Gaara, and his friend's life mattered more than revenge. He picked up Sasori's core, the proof of the puppet master's death, and headed into the cave system. Inside, the sealing had already begun. Shukaku's chakra was being extracted into a massive statue, the Gedo Mazo, a grotesque construct with 9 eyes and chains. Holographic projections of other Akatsuki members surrounded it, performing hand seals in perfect synchronization. Team Kakashi and Team Guy were engaged with 2 more members, Itachi Uchiha and Kasame Hoshigaki. Naruto felt his spiritual pressure surge violently when he saw Itachi, Sasuke's brother. The man who tortured his teammate, destroyed an entire clan, left Sasuke drowning in hatred and pain. Naruto, wait. Kakashi started, too late. Naruto activated his hollow mask. White bone materialized across his face, forming a demonic visage with red markings and a fanged mouth. His spiritual pressure quintupled instantly, the sheer force of it cracking the cave walls. His voice distorted, layered with something inhuman. Itachi Uchiha! He used Shunpo enhanced by the hollow mask's power, moving faster than even Itachi's Sharingan could track. Zangetsu swung in a horizontal slash aimed at decapitation. Itachi blocked with a kunai, but the force of the blow sent him flying backward. His eyes widened fractionally, genuine surprise crossing his usually emotionless features. What is that mask? Your death? Naruto's voice was barely recognizable. The hollow mask amplified everything: strength, speed, spiritual pressure, and aggression. His attacks became a relentless barrage, each swing of Zangetsu carving chunks from the cave structure. Itachi activated his Mangekyo Sharingan, attempting Tsukuyomi, his signature genjutsu that trapped victims in 72 hours of illusory torture. The genjutsu hit Naruto and shattered instantly. The hollow mask protected his mind, its separate consciousness providing a buffer that Itachi's illusions couldn't penetrate. Naruto's inner hollow, King, laughed inside his head, a sound like grinding metal. Nice try, Sharingan user. But my King's mind isn't so easily controlled. Naruto pressed his advantage, combining hollow-enhanced speed with Zangetsu's cutting power. Getsuga Tensho! The attack was amplified by the mask, turning from blue to crimson black, carrying enough force to level mountains. Itachi used Susanoo, a massive spectral warrior that formed around him, orange and imposing. The ethereal shield blocked the Getsuga Tensho, but cracks appeared in its surface. Impossible, Itachi breathed. That attack bypassed Susanoo's absolute defense. Nothing's absolute. Naruto charged again, Zangetsu raised high. Not your genjutsu, not your Susanoo. Nothing stops me from protecting my friends. Kasame engaged, trying to support Itachi. His massive sword Samehada swung toward Naruto's exposed back, but Sakura intercepted, her chakra-enhanced punch meeting the blade and stopping it cold. You want Naruto? Sakura's eyes blazed. Go through me first! Cha! Her fist connected with Kasame's jaw, the force sending the massive swordsman flying across the cave. That's for Gaara, you fish-faced bastard! The battle intensified. Naruto fought Itachi with everything he had, hollow mask amplifying his already overwhelming abilities. But Itachi was an S-rank ninja for a reason, his Sharingan predicting movements, his tactics flawless. They clashed repeatedly, each exchange shaking the cave structure. Naruto's spiritual pressure continued rising, approaching levels that made reality itself feel unstable. Then Itachi did something unexpected. He stopped fighting. Enough, Itachi said quietly. His Susanoo dissipated. You've proven your point, Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto paused, Zangetsu still raised. What? Your power is beyond anything I anticipated. Fighting you further would only lead to my death, or yours. Neither serves my purpose. Itachi's eyes met his, and for a moment, Naruto saw something complicated there. Regret? Pain? Protect Sasuke. When the truth comes out, he'll need someone like you. Truth? What truth? But Itachi was already dispersing, his projection fading as the sealing technique completed. Shukaku had been extracted completely. The Akatsuki members vanished, leaving only echoes of their presence. Naruto deactivated his hollow mask, breathing hard. The 11-minute limit was approaching. 8 minutes had passed in the fight with Itachi. His spiritual pressures slowly normalized. What the hell was that? Kakashi demanded. That mask, that power. Naruto interrupted. He moved to where Gaara's body lay, separated from Shukaku's extracted chakra. The red-haired Jinchuriki wasn't breathing. No. Naruto knelt beside his friend. No, no, no! Gaara, wake up! You can't die, Dadabayo! Sakura pushed him aside gently. Let me work. Her hands glowed green with medical chakra, pressing against Gaara's chest. She pumped healing energy directly into his heart, trying to restart the stopped organ. Nothing happened. Come on. Sakura's voice cracked. Come on, damn it. Still nothing. Naruto felt something break inside him. Gaara, the person who'd understood loneliness like he did, who'd chosen protection over destruction, who'd become Kazekage to prove Jinchuriki could be heroes, was dead. His spiritual pressure began leaking uncontrollably, grief and rage mixing into something dangerous. The hollow mask tried to form involuntarily, white fragments appearing on his face before he forcibly suppressed them. Then Chiyo appeared, an elderly woman, Sasori's grandmother, who'd followed them into the cave. Move aside, she commanded. Her hands began glowing with chakra of a different quality, not healing but transference. This jutsu, I can give him my life force, revive him completely. But that'll kill you, Sakura protested. I'm old, lived a full life. This boy. Chiyo looked at Gaara's peaceful face. He deserves a chance to live his, to prove Jinchuriki can be more than weapons. She performed the technique, reanimation jutsu, pouring her entire life force into Gaara's body. Her own life faded as his returned, chakra pathways reactivating, heart beginning to beat. Gaara's eyes opened. Where am I? You're alive, you idiot. Naruto grabbed him in a crushing hug, tears streaming down his face. You're alive. Don't ever scare me like that again, Dadabayo. Chiyo collapsed, her life spent. She died with a smile. Content that her final act had saved someone worth saving. They returned to Sunagakure as heroes. Gaara recovered quickly despite losing Shukaku. His body had adapted to functioning without a tailed beast through sheer force of will. He resumed his duties as Kazekage within a week, though the loss of his ultimate weapon made him reconsider his combat strategies. "I owe you everything," Gaara said privately to Naruto before Team Kakashi departed. "My life. My chance to keep protecting my village. Thank you." "That's what friends do," Naruto said simply. "You do the same for me." Without hesitation, they clasped hands, understanding passing between them. Two Jinchuriki who'd chosen different paths but arrived at the same destination. Protection, bonds, proving their worth through actions rather than words. The journey back to Konoha was quieter. Kakashi kept watching Naruto with undisguised concern, clearly disturbed by the hollow mask's appearance. "We need to talk about what happened in that cave," Kakashi said finally. "I know," Naruto admitted. "The mask, it's part of my spiritual power, like a release valve for excess energy, but it's dangerous, makes me more aggressive, harder to control. Can you suppress it? For now. But if I'm pushed far enough, it activates automatically." Naruto touched his face where the mask had been. "I'm working on mastering it completely, turning it from a liability into a weapon I can control." Sakura listened quietly, processing everything she'd witnessed. Her teammate had become something beyond human, powerful enough to fight S-rank criminals alone, protected by abilities that defied conventional understanding. "You're not going to ask?" Naruto said, noticing her silence. "Ask what?" "Where these powers come from, what I really am." Sakura smiled. "You're Naruto, that's all that matters to me. Everything else is just details." The simple acceptance made something warm bloom in Naruto's chest. This was what bonds felt like. Not judgment, not fear, just unconditional acceptance of who someone was, powers and all. They arrived in Konoha to news that changed everything. Jiraiya was dead. The words hit Naruto like a physical blow, driving the air from his lungs. His spiritual pressure exploded uncontrollably, cracking every window within 100 yards. The hollow mask began forming involuntarily, white bones spreading across his face as grief threatened to overwhelm him. "No." His voice distorted, layered with King's influence. "No!" The roar echoed across the entire village, a sound of pure anguish that made even hardened jonin flinch. Birds fled from trees. Civilians covered their ears. The spiritual pressure was so intense it became visible, black and red energy swirling around Naruto like a maelstrom. Kakashi and Yamato, who'd been waiting to deliver the news, immediately moved to restrain him. Yamato's wood style created barriers while Kakashi activated his Sharingan, ready to use genjutsu if necessary. "Naruto, control yourself," Kakashi shouted. "They killed him!" The hollow mask was half-formed now, covering the right side of Naruto's face. His right eye had turned black with a gold iris, King's eye, bleeding through the barrier between them. "The Akatsuki killed Erosenin." "Yes, and losing control won't bring him back." Kakashi's voice cut through the rage. "You want to honor Jiraiya? Then be the man he trained you to be. Not this!" The words penetrated Naruto's fury. He remembered Jiraiya's teachings. Power without control is just destruction. Strength means protecting people, not lashing out blindly. He forced his spiritual pressure back down through sheer willpower, fighting King's influence. The hollow mask cracked and shattered, fragments dissolving into spiritual particles. His breathing normalized slowly. "How?" Naruto's voice was hoarse. "How did it happen?" Tsunade appeared, her face lined with grief. Pain. The leader of the Akatsuki, Jiraiya, infiltrated their base in the Hidden Rain village to gather intelligence. He fought Pain directly, killed 3 of the 6 paths before the others overwhelmed him. He sent a coded message before dying, revealing Pain's secret. She handed Naruto a scroll. His final words were about you. He said you were his greatest student, that you'd surpass him and save the world. Naruto's hands shook as he read Jiraiya's final message. The old pervert's handwriting was barely legible, written in pain and fading consciousness, but the meaning was clear. "Believe in yourself, brat. You're going to be Hokage." I know it. Something broke inside Naruto, not his spirit, but the last remnants of his childhood innocence. Jiraiya had been more than a teacher. He'd been a father figure, the first adult who truly believed in him without reservation, and now he was gone. "Where's Pain now?" Naruto asked quietly. "Unknown. He disappeared after killing Jiraiya. But based on the pattern of Akatsuki attacks, he'll come here eventually. Tsunade's expression hardened. When he does, I'll kill him, Naruto said flatly. No mercy, no hesitation. He took arrow Sennin from me. I'll make him pay for that. The killing intent in his voice made everyone in the room step back involuntarily. This wasn't the hyperactive boy who'd left 3 years ago. This was a warrior who decided someone needed to die. Tsunade didn't argue. She just nodded. Train. Prepare. When pain comes, we'll need you at full strength. Naruto threw himself into training with obsessive intensity. He couldn't save Jiraiya. Couldn't protect his teacher despite all his power because he hadn't been there when it mattered. That failure ate at him, driving him to push beyond his limits. The hollow mask became his focus. 11 minutes wasn't enough. He needed more time, more control, more power. So he entered his inner world daily, confronting King directly. His inner world had changed since Ichigo's memories merged with his own. It was no longer the sewer where Kurama was sealed. Now it resembled a twisted cityscape, half submerged in water. Skyscrapers lying on their sides, sky inverted. King waited at the center, a perfect inverse of Naruto, with white skin, black sclera, and gold eyes. The hollow grinned with too many teeth. Back again, King. You're getting obsessed with me. It's almost romantic. Shut up, Naruto growled. I need more time with the mask. 11 minutes isn't cutting it. Then take it. Stop being such a coward about our power. King laughed, the sound like breaking glass. You're afraid of me, afraid you'll lose control. But we're the same person, you idiot. I'm just the part of you that wants to cut loose and destroy everything. That's exactly why I need control, Naruto shot back. Unbridled destruction isn't strength. It's just violence. Arrow Sennin taught me that. And look where that got him. Dead. King's spiritual pressure spiked. If he just used his full power, stopped holding back, he'd still be alive. But no, he had to be responsible and measured. And it got him killed. You're wrong, Naruto said quietly. Jiraiya died because he gathered intelligence that'll help us win. He sacrificed himself for the greater good. That's not weakness. That's the ultimate strength. Whatever helps you sleep, King. But King's tone had shifted, less mocking. You want more time with the mask? Fine. But you'll have to earn it. Fight me. Prove you're strong enough to control our combined power. They clashed in the inner world. Naruto with Zangetsu, King with inverted white blades. The battle was brutal, testing Naruto's resolve and control. Every time he thought he'd won, King would surge back stronger, but Naruto refused to give up. He remembered Jiraiya's teachings, Ichigo's memories, every battle he'd fought. Power wasn't about domination, it was about balance. Working with your inner demons rather than suppressing them. You're not my enemy, Naruto said, blocking King's attack. You're part of me. The part that refuses to let anyone hurt my precious people. The part that will cut down any threat without hesitation. Damn right I am. So stop fighting against me and work with me. Naruto's spiritual pressure synchronized with King's, the two energies merging instead of clashing. We're strongest together. King paused, then grinned, genuine rather than mocking. Finally figured it out, huh? Took you long enough, King? The inner world shifted, white and black energies spiraling together. Naruto felt the change immediately. His hollow mask's time limit extended. Control improved, power more stable. 15 minutes. He could maintain it for 15 minutes now. It wasn't perfect, wasn't complete mastery, but it was progress. 1 month after Jiraiya's death, pain attacked Konoha. The village's alarm systems went off simultaneously, warning of a massive threat approaching from the north. Ninja mobilized instantly, civilians evacuating to shelters while combat forces assembled at defensive positions. Naruto was at the training ground when the alarm sounded. He felt Pain's chakra signature immediately. 6 different sources, all connected, all radiating power that dwarfed most Jonin. The 6 paths of Pain. He arrived at the village entrance just as Pain demolished the main gate with a casual Shinra Tensei, a gravity manipulation technique that flattened everything in a cone-shaped area. Dozens of ninja flew backward, their defensive jutsu useless against the overwhelming force. Where is Naruto Uzumaki? Pain's voice echoed across the village, amplified by chakra. Give him to us, and your village will be spared. Like hell. Naruto stepped forward, Zangetsu already drawn. His spiritual pressure flooded the area, pushing back against Pain's chakra. You want me? Come and get me, Dadabayo. The civilians who could still see gasped. This wasn't the dead last, the prankster, the boy they'd hated and feared. This was a warrior radiating power that made the air shimmer, standing between them and annihilation. Pain's 6 bodies turned toward him. Devapath, the apparent leader, spoke. The Nine Tails Jinchuriki, you will come with us. I'll come to your funeral, Naruto shot back. You killed Jiraiya, you hurt my village, you threatened my friends. His spiritual pressure spiked violently. I'm going to destroy you. He activated his hollow mask. White bone materialized across his face, and his spiritual pressure quintupled instantly. The ground beneath him cracked, unable to withstand the sheer force of his power. His voice distorted. Let's go, King! Naruto charged, using Shunpo to close the distance instantly. Zangetsu swung toward Devapath's neck, but Shinra Tensei activated, creating a repulsive force that should have blown Naruto backward. Should have. Naruto's hollow mask-enhanced strength let him push through the technique, fighting against the gravity manipulation through pure overwhelming power. His blade stopped inches from Devapath's throat, the two forces canceling each other out. Impossible, Pain breathed. Nothing can resist Shinra Tensei. I'm not nothing. Naruto twisted, changing the angle of his attack. Zangetsu came from below, forcing Devapath to dodge. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, and I protect my people always. He unleashed a Getsuga Tensho at point-blank range. The amplified attack was crimson black from the hollow mask's influence. Carrying enough force to level city blocks, Devapath used Shinra Tensei again, deflecting the attack skyward, but the other paths weren't as fortunate. Asura Path, the mechanical one, took the residual energy and exploded, its body torn apart by spiritual pressure it couldn't withstand. 1 down. 5 to go. Animal Path summoned a massive 3-headed dog, each head capable of splitting into more dogs when struck. The summon lunged at Naruto with jaws wide enough to swallow him whole. Naruto didn't dodge. He activated Blood Vein, hardening his entire body, then punched straight through the dog's center head. The spiritual energy coating his fist obliterated the summon's core, making it disperse instantly. Your summons can't touch me! Naruto's hollow, distorted voice was terrifying. Nothing you have can! Human Path tried to grab him from behind. Its ability to rip out souls would work on any normal ninja. But Naruto's spiritual pressure was so dense that Human Path's hand couldn't even penetrate his aura. The body recoiled, smoke rising from burned fingers. My soul isn't yours to take. Naruto grabbed Human Path by the throat and slammed it into the ground with enough force to create a crater. Then he brought Zangetsu down, bisecting the body cleanly. 2 down. 4 to go. Prita Path moved forward, its ability to absorb any chakra-based attack, making it the perfect counter to most ninja. It reached for Naruto, ready to drain him dry. Naruto let it grab him. Spiritual energy flooded into Prita Path, but unlike chakra, it was toxic to the Rinnegan's absorption ability. The body convulsed, unable to process the foreign energy. Naruto's power was fundamentally different from chakra, operating on principles the paths couldn't comprehend. Choking on it? Naruto gripped Prita Path's wrist and squeezed, crushing bone with hollow enhanced strength. Good. Suffer like Erosenin suffered. He headbutted Prita Path, his hollow mask's reinforced bone shattering the body's skull. It collapsed, lifeless. 3 down. 3 to go. Naraka Path summoned the King of Hell, a massive spectral entity that could judge souls and restore damaged paths. But Naruto's spiritual pressure disrupted the summon's connection to Pain's chakra, making it flicker and destabilize. You can't bring them back. Naruto swung Zangetsu in a wide arc. Getsuga Tensho! The attack carved through the King of Hell, dispersing it, then continued toward Naraka Path. The body tried to dodge, but wasn't fast enough. The Getsuga Tensho caught it mid-jump and obliterated it completely. 4 down. 2 to go. Devapath and Animal Path retreated, creating distance. Pain's voice showed emotion for the first time. Shock. You've destroyed 4 paths in less than 5 minutes. That power, that's not chakra. What are you? I'm the person who's going to avenge Jiraiya. Naruto's spiritual pressure continued rising, approaching levels that made reality feel thin. The hollow mask's time limit was at 7 minutes, 8 remaining, and you're about to learn what it means to piss off a soul reaper. He used Shunpo, appearing above Animal Path. But this time, Devapath was ready, Shinra Tensei activated at full power, creating a repulsive force that could flatten entire villages. The attack hit Naruto directly, sending him flying backward through 3 buildings. Concrete and steel crumbled around him, burying him in rubble. For a moment, silence. Then the rubble exploded outward. Naruto stood in the center of the destruction, completely unharmed. Blood Vanney had protected him from the impact. His spiritual pressure had shielded him from debris. The hollow mask remained intact. That all you got? His voice echoed across the battlefield. Because I've tanked worse from training partners. He raised Zangetsu high, spiritual energy concentrating along the blade until it glowed like a black sun. This wasn't just Getsuga Tensho. This was something new, something he developed during his grief-fueled training. Getsuga Rasen Shuriken! The technique combined everything: spiritual energy, chakra, wind nature transformation, and the hollow mask's amplification. A massive sphere of rotating black energy formed around a Getsuga Tensho core, then launched toward the remaining paths. Animal Path summoned every creature it could, creating a wall of flesh and chakra. Deva Path prepared Shinra Tensei at maximum output. Neither mattered. The Getsuga Tensho Rasen Shuriken tore through the summons like paper, its rotating spiritual energy shredding anything it touched at the molecular level. Shinra Tensei deflected part of it, but the technique was too massive, too powerful. It struck both paths directly. Animal Path disintegrated instantly, unable to withstand the sheer concentrated power. Deva Path survived barely, its body torn and bleeding, Rinnegan flickering. Naruto appeared in front of Deva Path using Shunpo, Zangetsu at its throat. His hollow mask cracked from overuse. 10 minutes had passed, 4 minutes remaining. Where's your real body? Naruto demanded. These are just puppets. Where are you? Deva Path smiled despite its injuries. You're strong, Naruto Uzumaki, stronger than I anticipated, but you still don't understand pain. It raised one hand. Chibaku Tensei. A black sphere launched skyward, then began exerting gravitational pull so intense that the ground itself tore away in chunks. Buildings flew upward. Trees, rocks, ninja, everything within a mile radius started converging on the sphere, creating a massive floating prison. Naruto felt the pull but resisted, using spiritual pressure to anchor himself. But the civilians couldn't. Dozens of people flew upwards, screaming, about to be crushed in the growing sphere. No! Naruto deactivated his hollow mask. It was draining too much power, and he needed everything for what came next. I won't let you hurt them. He took a stance. Zangetsu held horizontally. His spiritual pressure condensed, focusing into a single point. This was it. The technique he'd been saving, the ultimate expression of his power. Bankai! Black energy exploded upward in a pillar that pierced the clouds. When it cleared, Naruto stood transformed, wearing the tattered black coat of Tensa Zangetsu, wielding the sleek black katana. His spiritual pressure became so refined it was barely visible. All that overwhelming power compressed into perfect efficiency. He used Bankai's enhanced speed, moving faster than Deva Path's eyes could register. One moment he was on the ground, the next he was above the Chibaku Tensei sphere, katana raised. Getsuga Tensho! The attack was smaller than usual, but infinitely more concentrated. A precise blade of black energy that cut through the sphere's core like butter, severing the gravitational connection. The floating prison shattered. Civilians fell. But Naruto was already moving, using Bankai's speed to catch them one by one, depositing them safely on the ground before returning to catch more. In less than 30 seconds, he'd saved everyone while simultaneously destroying Pain's ultimate technique. Deva Path stared in disbelief. How? How is this possible? You're just one person. I'm not just one person, Naruto said, landing in front of Deva Path. His katana's point pressed against the puppet's chest. I'm everyone who ever believed in me. Everyone I've sworn to protect. Their strength is my strength. He could feel Deva Path's chakra fading. The puppet was beyond repair, its connection to the real body severing. Where is your real body? Deva Path's lips moved, barely audible. Tower in the center of Rain Village, Nagato. The body went limp. All 6 paths were destroyed. Naruto stood alone in the devastated battlefield, breathing hard. Bankai's time limit was approaching. He'd used it for 3 minutes, leaving maybe 7 before he'd be completely exhausted. But the village was safe. The civilians were alive. Pain had been defeated. He looked around at the destruction. Buildings collapsed, streets torn apart, ninja injured or dead from the initial attack. This was the cost of protecting people. This was the weight of power. Tsunade appeared, flanked by dozens of ninja. Naruto, you did it. You actually defeated pain alone. Not alone, Naruto said quietly. He released Bankai, reverting to normal. Zangetsu remained in its sealed form across his back. Everyone who believes in me fought alongside me. I just channeled their strength. The village erupted in cheers. Civilians emerged from shelters to see Naruto standing victorious, the threat eliminated. For the first time in his life, the entire village looked at him with something other than hatred or fear. They looked at him with respect, gratitude, acknowledgement. He'd protected them, saved them, proven his worth beyond any doubt. But Naruto didn't smile, didn't celebrate. He just stood there, remembering Jiraiya's death, thinking about Pain's words about understanding pain. I need to go to the Rain Village, he told Tsunade. This isn't over, not until I talk to the real Pain, this Nagato person. You're exhausted, I know, but this needs to end, not with violence, but with understanding. Naruto's eyes hardened. Jiraiya died trying to find a way to break the cycle of hatred. I'm not letting his death be meaningless. Tsunade studied him for a long moment, then nodded. Take a team. Be careful. I will. Naruto found Nagato in a mechanical tower at the center of the Rain Village, exactly where Devapath had indicated. The real Pain was nothing like the puppet bodies, emaciated, skeletal, attached to machinery that kept him alive. His Rinnegan eyes were the only thing about him that showed vitality. Beside him stood Konan, a woman with blue hair and paper wings, Pain's partner and protector. You came, Nagato said weakly. The one who defeated my 6 paths, Naruto Uzumaki. I came to talk, Naruto said. He'd left Zangetsu with Kakashi, deliberately coming unarmed. Pain to Pain, Jinchuriki to, whatever you are. I'm a god, Nagato said flatly. Or I was trying to be. I wanted to use the tailed beast to create a weapon so terrifying that nations would never dare start wars again. Mutual assured destruction, enforced peace through fear. That's the stupidest plan I've ever heard, Naruto said bluntly. Nagato's eyes widened. What? Peace through fear isn't peace, it's just postponed violence. The moment someone stops being afraid, the wars restart. Jiraiya understood that. That's why he kept searching for a better way. Jiraiya was naive, Nagato spat. He believed in fairy tales, in heroes and redemption, and he was right. Naruto's spiritual pressure flared. Look at you. You've got the most powerful eyes in the world, abilities that make you basically a god. And what did you do with it? Spread pain, created more orphans, made the world worse. Because the world made me suffer first. I watched my parents die. My best friend was killed by people claiming to be heroes. I've experienced every form of pain imaginable. So have I. Naruto's voice cracked with emotion. You think you're the only one who suffered? I spent 12 years being hated by an entire village for something I didn't choose. Had people try to kill me for existing. Lived with loneliness that made me want to die. Nagato went silent, shocked by the raw pain in Naruto's voice. But you know what I learned? Naruto continued. Pain is inevitable. Everyone suffers. Everyone loses people they love. But how you respond to that pain, that's what defines you. You can let it make you bitter and twisted like you did, or you can use it to understand others and protect them from feeling the same pain. Pretty words from someone who's never. I lost Jiraiya too, Naruto shouted. Tears streamed down his face. He was like a father to me, the first adult who ever believed in me without reservation. And you killed him. You took him away. His spiritual pressure exploded uncontrollably, grief overriding his control. The tower shook, machinery sparking from the sheer, overwhelming force. So don't tell me I don't understand pain. Naruto's voice broke. I understand it perfectly, but I'm not going to let it turn me into a monster. I'm going to honor Jiraiya's memory by doing what he believed in, finding a better way to achieve peace. Nagato stared at this boy who defeated his 6 paths, who could kill him with a gesture, but instead stood there crying and talking about honor and memory. How? Nagato whispered. How do you not hate me? I killed your teacher, attacked your village, tried to capture you. How can you stand there and not want me dead? Because I have memories of someone who faced the same choice, Naruto said quietly. Ichigo Kurosaki fought enemies who'd hurt his friends, killed people he cared about. And every time he chose understanding over revenge. He believed people could change, that redemption was possible even for the worst sins. He looked Nagato in the eyes. You can't bring Jiraiya back, can't undo the pain you've caused. But you can do better going forward. You can choose to be more than your suffering. Nagato's hands trembled. I don't know if I can. The pain is all I have left. Then let it go, Naruto said. Make your final choice, one that matters. Use your power to do something good before you die. For a long moment, silence hung in the tower. Then Nagato smiled, genuinely for the first time in years. Jiraiya's student indeed. You have his idealism, his unshakable belief in people's potential for good. He formed hand seals slowly, painfully. I'll trust your way, Naruto Uzumaki. I'll believe that the cycle can be broken. Nagato, what are you doing? Conan asked fearfully. Rini Rebirth, Nagato said. A technique that revives the dead by sacrificing the user's life. I'll bring back everyone I killed in Konoha. Give them the second chance I never got. No, Conan grabbed his arm. You'll die. I'm already dying. This body can't sustain itself much longer. Nagato's eyes met hers. Let me do this. Let my final act be one of creation rather than destruction. The technique activated, golden light flooding from Nagato's body, spreading across continents. In Konoha, the dead began stirring. Hearts restarted, wounds healed. Life returned to bodies that had been cooling for hours. Jiraiya remained dead. His body was too far gone, lost in the depths of the Rain Village's waters. But everyone else pain had killed lived again. Nagato slumped in his chair, life fading. Naruto Uzumaki, thank you for showing me the light. He died with a peaceful expression. The hatred and pain that had defined him finally released. Conan looked at Naruto with tears streaming down her face. What will you do now? I helped him. I'm complicit in everything Pain did. Join Konoha, Naruto said simply. We can always use people who understand the value of peace, help us build the world Nagato wanted but didn't know how to create. You trust me? Trust is earned. You'll have to prove yourself. Naruto's expression softened. But yeah, I believe you can. Conan nodded slowly, her paper wings folding. Then I'll follow your path. For Nagato's sake, for the chance to do better. Naruto returned to Konoha a hero. The village had been devastated by Pain's attack, but thanks to Nagato's final sacrifice, no one had died permanently. Buildings could be rebuilt. Walls could be repaired. Life would continue. Tsunade called a village assembly the day after Naruto's return. Thousands gathered in the central plaza, civilians and ninja alike wanting to see the person who'd saved them. Naruto Uzumaki! Tsunade's voice carried across the crowd. Step forward! Naruto walked through the parting crowd, feeling hundreds of eyes on him. He wore his black coat over orange pants, Zangetsu strapped to his back, looking every inch the warrior he'd become. You defeated Pain single-handedly, Tsunade continued. Saved this village from annihilation, protected everyone here despite having every reason to let us fall after how we treated you as a child. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Some looked ashamed. They'd been among those who'd hated him, feared him, tried to hurt him when he was just a lonely kid. For your actions, Tsunade declared, I'm recommending you for immediate promotion to Jonin. And more than that, she smiled. When I eventually step down as Hokage, I'll be naming you as my successor. The crowd erupted, some in cheers, some in shock, some in disbelief. Naruto Uzumaki, the dead last, the class clown, the nine-tails brat, would become Hokage? But looking at him now, standing tall and confident, radiating power that made even elite Jonin feel small, the title seemed inevitable. He'd earned it through actions, not words. Through protection, not destruction. Naruto looked across the crowd, seeing familiar faces. Sakura, crying with happiness. Kakashi, proud beneath his mask. Iruka, beaming like a parent watching their child succeed. Even Sasuke had returned for the ceremony, nodding with respect from the shadows. I accept, Naruto said simply. But I won't become Hokage until I've completed one more task. Until I've dealt with the Akatsuki completely and prevented the war they're trying to start. A war? Tsunade's expression shifted to concern. Nado told me before he died. The Akatsuki's real leader, someone named Madara Uchiha or Tobi, is planning to use the tailed beasts for something called the Infinite Tsukuyomi. A genjutsu that would trap the entire world in illusion. Naruto's voice hardened. I'm not letting that happen, so I'm going after them. All of them. That's suicide, Even with your power, I know the risks. Naruto touched Zangetsu's hilt. But I'm a soul reaper. Protecting people is literally in my job description. Can't be Hokage if I let the world burn first, Dadabayo. Tsunade wanted to argue, but she saw the determination in his eyes. Naruto had made his choice, and nothing would change his mind. Then you'll have support, she said. I'm calling an emergency 5 Kage summit. If the Akatsuki threatens the entire world, all nations need to respond together. Good, Naruto grinned, his usual enthusiasm returning. Let's show these bastards what happens when they mess with our world. The crowd cheered, their faith in Naruto absolute. He'd protected them once. He'd protect them again. The Fourth Great Ninja War began 3 months later. The 5 Kage summit had ended in disaster when Sasuke, consumed by revenge against Konoha for orchestrating the Uchiha massacre, attacked the meeting. Naruto had fought his former teammate, trying to talk sense into him. But Sasuke fled with members of the Akatsuki. That incident, combined with the Akatsuki's capture of the 8 Tails Jinchuriki Killer Bee, accelerated the timeline. Madara Uchiha revealed himself publicly, declaring war on the entire shinobi world. His goal, capture all tailed beasts, complete the infinite Tsukuyomi, and trap humanity in eternal dream. The allied shinobi forces mobilized, 80,000 ninja from 5 nations, united against a common threat. It was unprecedented. Historic. The largest military force ever assembled in the ninja world's history, and Naruto was made a key combatant despite technically still being a genin. The war began at dawn on a battlefield that stretched for miles. The allied forces on one side, the Akatsuki's army of 100,000 white Zetsu clones on the other. Naruto stood at the front lines, Zangetsu unsealed and resting against his shoulder. His spiritual pressure washed over the allied ninja, boosting their morale just through sheer presence. Listen up. Naruto's voice carried across the battlefield, amplified by chakra. I know you're scared. I know facing an army this size seems impossible. But remember, we're not fighting for countries or politics. We're fighting to protect the people we love. Our families, our friends, our dreams. He raised Zangetsu high, spiritual energy making the blade glow. So fight with everything you've got. Protect each other and trust that we will win, because that's what ninja do. We never give up. The allied forces roared their approval, their fear transforming into determination. Naruto's words, backed by his reputation as the person who defeated pain, gave them courage. The white Zetsu army charged. Naruto activated his hollow mask. White bone materialized across his face, and his spiritual pressure quintupled. He created 1,000 shadow clones, each one wielding a copy of Zangetsu manifested through spiritual energy. Charge! All 1,000 Narutos surged forward, meeting the white Zetsu head-on. What followed was carnage. Each clone used Getsuga Tensho in coordinated waves, the black crescents of energy carving through white Zetsu like a lawnmower through grass. The clones moved with Shunpo, appearing throughout the enemy ranks, systematically destroying targets. Within 10 minutes, Naruto's clones had eliminated over 5,000 white Zetsu. The allied forces stared in shock. One person, technically 1,000 copies of one person, was turning the tide of battle single-handedly. What the hell is he? Akumo ninja breathed. He's Naruto Uzumaki, Gaara said, having joined the battle despite his Kazekage duties, and he's going to save the world. The battle raged for hours. Naruto's clones coordinated with other ninja, supporting Gaara's sand, enhancing Darui's storm techniques, protecting medics who healed the wounded. His presence on the battlefield was transformative, allowing the allied forces to push back despite being outnumbered. Then the reanimated dead appeared. Kabuto, a former student of Orochimaru, had perfected Edo Tensei, the technique that revived the dead as immortal soldiers. Legendary ninja from history began emerging from summoning circles. Previous Kage, famous Jonin, elite warriors who'd shaped the ninja world. Among them were Itachi Uchiha and Nagato, both resurrected against their will, forced to fight for Kabuto. Naruto faced them alongside Killer Bee, the 8 Tails Jinchuriki, who'd survived his capture through clever use of substitution. Naruto Uzumaki, Itachi said, his voice hollow from the Edo Tensei's influence. I didn't expect to face you again, especially not like this. Itachi. Naruto's spiritual pressure flared. I know you didn't want this. I know there's more to the Uchiha massacre than Sasuke understands, but I can't let you rampage. Then stop me, Itachi said. Free me from this technique. That's the only mercy you can offer. Nagato summoned the six paths again, the bodies forming from dead white Zetsu. His Rinnegan glowed with unnatural light. I died believing in your way. Naruto, don't make me regret that choice. Defeat me quickly. I will, Naruto promised. He activated his hollow mask and Bankai simultaneously. The transformation was explosive. Black coat billowing, white mask forming, spiritual pressure becoming so dense it was visible as black flames. His speed increased beyond comprehension, beyond anything Itachi's Sharingan could track fully. Let's go, King! Naruto's distorted voice echoed. He moved. Shunpo carried him to Nagato's animal path instantly. His katana, Tensa Zangetsu, cut through the body before it could react, bisecting it cleanly. He used the momentum to spin toward Asura path, decapitating it mid-jump. 2 paths down in 1 second. Itachi activated Susanoo, the orange spectral warrior forming around him. But Naruto had faced Susanoo before, knew its weaknesses. Getsuga Tensho! The concentrated black energy carved through Susanoo's ribcage, forcing Itachi to reinforce. But that moment of distraction let Killer Bee engage, his 8-tailed chakra cloak allowing him to grapple with the spectral warrior directly. Naruto continued dismantling Nagato's paths. Human Path tried to extract his soul, but his spiritual pressure was too dense. The technique couldn't penetrate. He grabbed Human Path by the face and slammed it into the ground hard enough to shatter its skull. Preta Path attempted absorption. Naruto let it grab him, then flooded it with spiritual energy. The body convulsed, choking on power it couldn't process, then collapsed. Deva Path used Shinra Tensei at full power. The repulsive force should have obliterated Naruto, but he activated Blood Vein, hardening his entire body, and pushed through the technique using overwhelming strength. His katana pierced Devapath's chest, pinning it to the ground. Rest, Nagato. You've suffered enough. Naruto turned to Itachi, who'd broken free from Killer Bee's grapple. The Uchiha's Sharingan spun, preparing Amaterasu, black flames that burned anything they touched. But before Itachi could release the technique, he stopped. His eyes widened. What? This feeling? The Edo Tensei's control was breaking. Itachi's consciousness was reasserting itself, fighting against Kabuto's influence through sheer force of will. Naruto Uzumaki, Itachi said, his voice clearer. Listen carefully. Sasuke is being manipulated. The truth about the Uchiha massacre, Konoha ordered it. We were planning a coup. I killed the clan to prevent civil war on orders from the village elders. What? Naruto's spiritual pressure spiked violently. The village ordered genocide? Yes, and now Sasuke knows the truth. He's allied with Madara, seeking revenge against Konoha. Itachi's form began flickering. He was using a technique to break free of Edo Tensei permanently. Stop him. Save my brother from the darkness. That's all I ask. Itachi sealed himself using Izanami, trapping his Edo Tensei form in an endless loop that Kabuto couldn't control. He faded, leaving only final words. Protect Sasuke. He's all I have left. Naruto stood frozen, processing the revelation. The Uchiha massacre was sanctioned by Konoha. Itachi had been a hero, not a villain. And Sasuke had every right to hate the village. Damn it, Naruto whispered. His hollow mask cracked from emotional distress, fragments falling away. Damn it all. Killer Bee placed a hand on his shoulder. Focus, young fool. War's not over, you fool. Process later. Fight now. Naruto took a deep breath, forcing his emotions down. Bee was right. He'd deal with the Sasuke situation after the war ended. Right now, there was a world to save. The battle reached its climax when Madara Uchiha himself appeared on the battlefield. The legendary ninja descended from the sky like a god, his presence making even veteran Jonin freeze in terror. His Sharingan surveyed the battlefield with casual dismissal. So many insects gathered in one place, Madara said. How convenient. I can eliminate you all at once. He used a technique that summoned meteors from the sky, massive chunks of rock that blotted out the sun. 2 meteors, each one large enough to destroy entire armies. The allied forces watched in horror as death approached from above. Naruto activated his hollow mask and Bankai again, pushing his body beyond its limits. His spiritual pressure became so intense it created visible shockwaves. Not on my watch. His voice was layered, Naruto's determination mixed with King's aggression. Hollow! Getsuga! Tensho! He swung Tensa Zangetsu upward, releasing an attack that combined his hollow mask's power with Bankai's precision. A crimson-black blade of energy erupted from his katana, growing as it ascended. The technique struck the first meteor dead center, carving through solid rock like butter. The meteor split in half, both pieces veering off course to crash harmlessly in the distance. But the second meteor was still falling. Naruto's body screamed in protest. Maintaining Bankai and Hollow Mask simultaneously was draining him faster than anticipated. He had seconds left before both techniques failed. Then Gaara's sand rose to support him, joined by Onoki's particle style, by Mei's lava release, by Tsunade's strength. The allied forces' strongest ninja combined their power, attacking the second meteor from multiple angles. Together they shattered it. The fragments rained down, but ninja with defensive techniques created barriers, protecting the army from debris. Madara's eyes widened fractionally, genuine surprise. Impressive. You actually destroyed my meteors. Perhaps you're not all insects after all. He descended to the battlefield, his mere presence making the air feel heavy. His chakra was monstrous, surpassing even Pain's 6 paths, rivaling tailed beasts in sheer quantity. I'll handle this myself, Madara declared. He formed hand seals at speeds that made tracking impossible. You'll witness the power of the Uchiha. What followed was a demonstration of why Madara was legendary. He engaged the allied forces' elite simultaneously, fighting Gaara, Onoki, Mei, and A, the Raikage, at once without apparent effort. His taijutsu was perfection in motion, his ninjutsu overwhelming in scale, his Sharingan predicting every attack before it landed. Within minutes, all 4 Kage were on the defensive, struggling just to survive. Naruto watched, analyzing Madara's fighting style through Ichigo's combat experience. The Uchiha was fast, but not as fast as Bankai. Strong, but not as strong as Hollow Mask-enhanced attacks. Skilled, but operating on principles Naruto could counter. Madara Uchiha! Naruto stepped forward, his spiritual pressure washing over the battlefield. You want a real fight? Fight me! Madara turned, his Sharingan focusing on Naruto with interest. The Jinchuriki, the one who defeated Pain, the boy with the strange power that isn't chakra. A smile crossed his face, genuine anticipation. Yes, you might actually be worthy. They clashed in the center of the battlefield. Tensa Zangetsu met Madara's Gunbai, a war fan that could reflect techniques and generate devastating wind attacks. The impact created a shockwave that flattened everything within 50 yards. Naruto used Shunpo, appearing behind Madara. His katana slashed toward the Uchiha's spine, but Madara had activated his Sharingan's precognition, predicting the move. He spun, blocking with the Gunbai's edge. Fast, Madara acknowledged, but predictable. Then predict this. Naruto's hollow mask amplified his spiritual pressure violently. He unleashed a rapid-fire barrage of Getsuga Tensho attacks, 10, 20, 30 in the span of seconds. Madara's Gunbai reflected some, dodged others, tanked the rest with his perfect Susanoo. The blue spectral armor absorbed attacks that could level mountains, dispersing the energy harmlessly. Your power is impressive, Madara said, but ultimately futile. My Susanoo is absolute defense. You cannot. Naruto appeared inside Susanoo using Shunpo. The technique should have been impossible. Susanoo was supposed to be impenetrable, a perfect shell that kept enemies outside. But spiritual pressure operated on different principles than chakra. Naruto could move through the spectral armor because it wasn't designed to stop non-chakra entities. His katana pressed against Madara's throat from inside the Uchiha's own defense. Nothing's absolute, Naruto said, his hollow distorted voice layered with menace. Your Susanoo, just another barrier to break through. Madara's eyes widened, genuine shock crossing his face for the first time in decades. Impossible. You shouldn't be able to. I've got memories of someone who specialized in doing the impossible. Naruto's spiritual pressure spiked. Give up. You've lost. But Madara laughed, a sound of pure delight. Lost? Boy, I haven't even begun to fight seriously. He activated his Rinnegan, revealing that he'd implanted Naruto's eyes into his own sockets during the chaos of war. The Tomoe pattern transformed, becoming the rippled circles that granted godlike abilities. Limbo Border Jail. Invisible clones formed in a parallel dimension, attacking Naruto from angles he couldn't perceive. Fists slammed into his ribs, his jaw, his spine. Attacks that bypassed Blutveen because they came from a dimension his spiritual awareness couldn't fully sense. Naruto flew backward, crashing through the ground. Blood leaked from his mouth, his hollow mask cracking from the unexpected assault. What What was that? He gasped. Rinnegan's ability to create shadows in limbo, a dimension you cannot see or interact with. Madara's smile was victorious. You're strong, Naruto Uzumaki. Perhaps the strongest opponent I've faced since Hashirama, but you lack the tools to fight a god. Naruto struggled to his feet, his Bankai flickering. The time limit was approaching. He'd been maintaining it for nearly 10 minutes, far longer than advisable. His spiritual pressure was depleting rapidly, but he couldn't give up. Not while Madara threatened the world. He deactivated Bankai, reverting to Shikai, Zangetsu returning to its massive wrapped form. The hollow mask remained, providing just enough power boost to continue fighting. I don't need to be a god, Naruto said, spitting blood. I just need to be a protector. He charged again, using Shunpo to avoid the Limbo clone's attacks through prediction rather than perception. If he couldn't sense them directly, he'd predict their movements based on Madara's chakra flow. It worked. Barely. He dodged left when Madara's chakra shifted right, jumped when it concentrated low, blocked high when it dispersed wide. Madara was impressed despite himself. You're adapting, learning mid-battle. Truly, you are Jiraiya's student. Damn right I am. Naruto swung Zangetsu in a wide arc. And Arrow Sennin taught me to never give up, even when the odds are impossible, even when facing gods. That's my ninja way. His spiritual pressure exploded with conviction, raw determination overriding physical exhaustion. The hollow mask's time limit extended through sheer force of will, 15 minutes passing, then 16, 17. King's voice echoed in his head. That's it, King. Show this Sharingan bastard what we're made of. Naruto created a new technique on the spot, combining Rasengan, spiritual energy, and the hollow mask's Sero. A sphere of rotating black and red energy formed in his palm, crackling with power that made reality scream. Hollow! Rasengan! He slammed it into Madara's Susanoo at point-blank range. The perfect defense shattered. Madara's eyes widened as the technique tore through his spectral armor, continuing toward his physical body. He used Limbo clones to intercept, but the hollow Rasengan obliterated them, spiritual energy destroying even dimensional shadows. The attack struck Madara's chest, detonating with force that created a mushroom cloud visible from miles away. When the dust cleared, Madara stood in a crater, his armor destroyed, blood leaking from a chest wound, but he was smiling, genuinely pleased. Magnificent, he breathed. You actually hurt me. You, a mere child, damaged the legendary Madara Uchiha. He laughed, loud and joyous. I haven't felt this alive in decades. His body began regenerating, the Edo Tensei's immortality restoring damage. Within seconds, the chest wound had healed completely. But that's the problem with fighting the undead, Madara continued. You can't kill us. We just keep coming back over and over until you collapse from exhaustion. Naruto's hollow mask finally shattered. 18 minutes had passed, far beyond his normal limit. His spiritual pressure plummeted, exhaustion hitting him like a hammer. He collapsed to one knee, breathing hard. Damn it, he gasped. Not enough. Madara approached, his Rinnegan glowing. You fought well, Naruto Uzumaki, but this is where your story ends. I'll extract the 9 tails now, and... A sword pierced Madara's chest from behind. Sasuke stood there, his Mangekyo Sharingan activated, holding a Chidori-enhanced blade through Madara's torso. Sorry to interrupt your dramatic moment, Madara, but I have business with you too. Madara glanced down at the sword, then laughed. Sasuke Uchiha, the last loyal Uchiha, come to avenge your clan? Something like that. Sasuke's eyes met Naruto's across the battlefield. Stay down, dead last. I'll handle this. Sasuke. Naruto struggled to stand. We need to talk. Later, after I kill this bastard and every elder who ordered my clan's death. Sasuke's Mangekyo spun faster. But first, I'm saving your ass one more time. Call it repaying a debt. He activated Amaterasu, black flames engulfing Madara's body. The legendary Uchiha screamed, not in pain but in frustration as the flames consumed his Edo Tensei form faster than it could regenerate. You dare! Madara roared. I am immortal! I am! You're a corpse refusing to stay dead, Sasuke interrupted coldly, and I'm sending you back to the Pure Land, permanently. He sealed Madara using a technique he'd learned from studying Itachi's notes, a combination of Sharingan Genjutsu and sealing jutsu that trapped the Edo Tensei's soul, preventing further reanimation. Madara's form dissolved into ash, his final words of promise. This isn't over. The infinite Tsukuyomi will still... And then he was gone, Sasuke stood over the ashes, his Mangekyo bleeding from overuse. He turned to Naruto, extending a hand. "Get up, dead last. We're not done yet." Naruto took the offered hand, letting Sasuke pull him to his feet. "You came back. Temporarily. I still have business with Konoha. Still plan to kill the elders who ordered my clan's death." Sasuke's expression was hard. But Itachi's final message made me realize something. Destroying Konoha won't bring my clan back, won't make Itachi's sacrifice meaningful. So what will you do? Fight alongside you until this war ends. Make sure the world my brother died protecting survives. Sasuke's lips twitched in something almost like a smile. Then we'll settle our differences, you and me, properly. Naruto grinned despite his exhaustion. Looking forward to it, Dadabayo. The war continued for 3 more days. With Madara sealed, the Akatsuki's forces lost their primary commander. Kabuto tried to maintain control of the Edo Tensei army, but without Madara's tactical brilliance, the reanimated ninja became easier to seal. Naruto fought continuously, using every technique he'd mastered. His hollow mask's time limit extended through constant use and adrenaline. 20 minutes became his new maximum. His Bankai refined itself through battle experience, becoming more efficient with each activation. He saved thousands of allied ninja, his spiritual pressure boosting their morale, and his combat ability turning impossible situations into victories. Then, on the 4th day, Obito Uchiha revealed himself. The masked man who'd claimed to be Madara appeared on the battlefield, having absorbed the 10 tails, a combination of all 9-tailed beasts. His power was beyond comprehension, beyond anything the allied forces had faced. He reshaped the battlefield with a gesture, creating pocket dimensions and manipulating reality itself. Ninja died by the hundreds. Unable to even comprehend the attacks hitting them, Naruto faced him with Sasuke at his side. "Obito," Naruto said, recognizing the man from intelligence reports. "This is insane. You're trying to trap the entire world in genjutsu. How does that solve anything?" "Because reality is suffering." Obito's voice was hollow, emotionless. "In the infinite Tsukuyomi, no one dies. No one loses loved ones. Everyone gets their perfect dream. That's true peace." "That's not peace. That's running away." Naruto's spiritual pressure flared. "Yeah, reality sucks sometimes. Yeah, people die and suffer. But that's what makes the good moments meaningful. You can't appreciate light without darkness." "Pretty words from someone who's never lost everything," Obito spat. "You don't understand true pain." "I lost Jiraiya," Naruto interrupted. "Lost him because your organization killed him. I understand loss perfectly. But I'm not using that as an excuse to destroy the world." Sasuke stepped forward. "And I lost my entire clan, my family, my innocence. But even I'm not crazy enough to think trapping everyone in dreams is the answer." He activated his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, having transplanted Itachi's eyes after his brother's final message. "We're stopping you, Obito. Together." The battle that followed shook the entire battlefield. Obito's 10 tails Jinchuriki form granted him abilities that bordered on divine. Reality manipulation, dimension shifting, near infinite chakra. He created truth-seeking orbs that could obliterate anything they touched, including souls. Naruto activated Bankai and Hollow Mask simultaneously, pushing his body to absolute limits. His spiritual pressure became so dense it was visible as a black aura, crackling with red lightning from the Hollow Mask's influence. "Bankai, Hollow Mask!" His voice was layered, 3 entities speaking as one. Naruto, Ichigo, and King. He moved faster than Obito could track, Tensa Zangetsu leaving after images. Each slash carved through Obito's defenses, forcing the 10 tails Jinchuriki to constantly regenerate. Sasuke supported with Amaterasu and his new technique, a combination of black flames and lightning that could penetrate even truth-seeking orbs. Together, they pushed Obito backward, forcing him on the defensive for the first time. "Impossible!" Obito roared. "I have the power of a god. You're just humans. How can you?" "Because we're fighting for something real," Naruto's hollow mask distorted voice echoed. "Not dreams, not illusions. We're fighting for the bonds between people, for the chance to build a better world together." He charged his ultimate technique, combining everything he'd learned, every power he possessed. Bankai's precision, Hollow Mask's amplification, 9 tails chakra that Kurama willingly provided, spiritual pressure refined to its purest form. Mugetsu, Rasen Shuriken! The technique was Ichigo's final Getsuga Tensho merged with Naruto's most powerful jutsu, a blade of pure black energy that erased everything it touched. Combined with a sphere of rotating destruction, Sasuke added his own power, Indra's arrow, a technique using all his chakra condensed into a single lightning bolt of apocalyptic force. Both attacks launched simultaneously, converging on Obito from different angles. The Ten Tails Jinchuriki tried to dodge, tried to block, tried to dimension shift away. But the attacks were too fast, too powerful, too perfectly coordinated. They struck Obito simultaneously. Reality screamed. The combined technique didn't just damage Obito, it severed his connection to the Ten Tails completely, ripping the Biju from his body through sheer overwhelming force. The tailed beasts scattered, freed from their prison. Obito collapsed, his body reverting to normal. He lay in a crater, barely breathing, the godlike power gone. Naruto landed beside him, his Bankai and hollow mask dissipating. He was completely exhausted, his spiritual pressure depleted to nearly nothing. But he'd won. Why? Obito whispered. Why fight so hard? For a world that's caused you so much pain. Because the world's worth fighting for, Naruto said quietly. Not because it's perfect, but because the people in it matter. Because bonds between people are real. Because even in darkness, there's always light if you look for it. He extended his hand. You can still choose, Obito. Help us end this war. Use your last moments to do something good. Obito stared at the offered hand, tears streaming down his face. For the first time in years, he saw clearly, saw how twisted his dream had become, how his pain had transformed into monstrosity. I was so wrong. He took Naruto's hand. Rin, I'm sorry. I became a monster trying to see you again. Black Zetsu, the true mastermind behind the Akatsuki, emerged from Obito's body, having used him as a pawn all along. Foolish human. You were never meant to complete the infinite Tsukuyomi. You were just a stepping stone for. Sasuke's Chidori pierced Black Zetsu before it could finish speaking, obliterating the ancient entity. Shut up. Nobody cares about your evil plan. With Black Zetsu destroyed, the true threat ended. The remaining Akatsuki forces scattered, leaderless and defeated. The allied shinobi forces stood victorious. The war was over. The aftermath took months to process. The allied shinobi forces had lost over 30,000 ninja, a staggering number, but far less than predicted. Naruto's presence on the battlefield had saved countless lives, his ability to fight S-rank threats solo preventing casualties that would have otherwise occurred. He was hailed as a hero across all 5 nations. Villages that had once feared the Nine Tails Jinchuriki now celebrated him. Children wore orange jumpsuits in imitation. Adults told stories of the ninja who could summon black blades and wore a demon's mask. But Naruto felt hollow. He'd achieved victory, but the cost was staggering. Thousands dead, villages destroyed, families torn apart. And for what? To stop a plan that never should have gotten so far in the first place. He visited the memorial stone in Konoha, staring at the names carved into granite. Jiraiya's name had been added recently, commemorating his sacrifice. I did it, Ero Sennin, Naruto said quietly. Stop the Akatsuki, save the world, just like you believed I could. His voice cracked. But it still doesn't feel like enough. You're still gone, and I can't bring you back. He wouldn't want you to, Tsunade said, appearing behind him. Jiraiya died believing you'd carry on his legacy, that you'd make the world better than he left it. How? How do I make the world better when I couldn't even save my own teacher? By doing what you've always done, protecting people, making bonds, refusing to give up. Tsunade placed a hand on his shoulder, and by becoming Hokage, the village council made it official this morning. You're the 7th Hokage, Naruto. Naruto turned, shock clear on his face. What? But I'm only 16. I'm barely even a jonin. You defeated Pain, fought Madara Uchiha, helped end a world war. You've earned the title through actions that surpass any traditional requirements. Tsunade smiled. Besides, the village trusts you. They want you as their leader. I don't know what to say. Say yes, you idiot. Sakura appeared with Kakashi, both smiling. We've been waiting for this. You've wanted to be Hokage since you were 7. But no buts, Kakashi interrupted. You're ready, Naruto. More ready than any Hokage before you. You've got the power to protect the village, the wisdom to lead it, and the bonds to keep it united. Naruto looked at them. His friends, his family, the people who believed in him when no one else did. Then he looked at Jiraiya's name on the memorial stone. "I'll make you proud, Arrow Sennin. I promise." "Okay," he said, voice steady. "I accept. I'll become the 7th Hokage." The inauguration ceremony took place 1 month later. Thousands gathered in the central plaza, civilians, ninja, dignitaries from other villages. The entire ninja world watched as Naruto Uzumaki prepared to become the youngest Hokage in history. He stood on the platform wearing the traditional white and red Hokage robes, but his black coat remained underneath, a reminder of who he was, what he'd fought for. Zangetsu rested across his back in its sealed form, the blade's spiritual pressure a constant presence. Tsunade performed the ceremonial passing of the hat, the white Hokage cap that symbolized leadership. "Naruto Uzumaki, do you accept the responsibility of protecting this village, of leading its people through peace and war, of sacrificing everything including your life to ensure Konoha's survival?" "I do," Naruto said clearly. "Then by the power vested in me by the Fire Daimyo and the village council, I name you 7th Hokage of Konohagakure." She placed the hat on his head. "May you lead with wisdom, strength, and compassion." The crowd erupted in cheers. Naruto looked across the sea of faces, seeing Sakura crying with joy, Kakashi smiling beneath his mask, Sasuke nodding with respect from the shadows, Gaara watching with pride from the diplomatic section. He saw children pointing at him with wonder, adults bowing with genuine respect, elderly civilians who'd once hated him now celebrating his ascension. This was acknowledgement. This was what he'd fought for since childhood. He stepped forward to address his village, his people, and felt something settle in his chest. Purpose, belonging, home. "Thank you," Naruto said, his voice carrying across the plaza through chakra amplification. "Thank you for believing in me, for giving me a chance despite everything, for letting me protect you." He touched Zangetsu's hilt. "I learned something from the soul that lives inside me. Someone named Ichigo Kurosaki who taught me that protection isn't about power. It's about the will to stand between your loved ones and danger, no matter the cost. I've got that will. I've always had it, and now I have the position to use it properly." His eyes blazed with determination. "I promise you, as long as I'm Hokage, no one will threaten this village and survive. No one will hurt my people, because I'll cut down any enemy, face any challenge, endure any suffering necessary to keep you safe. That's my promise. That's my ninja way. That's what it means to be Hokage." The crowd's cheers intensified, their faith in Naruto absolute. He'd proven himself beyond any doubt, earned their trust through actions rather than words. That night, after the celebrations ended, Naruto stood on the Hokage monument, specifically on the carving of the 4th Hokage's face. "Hey, Dad," he said quietly. The secret of his parentage had been revealed during the war when he'd briefly met Minato's chakra imprint. "Guess I made it. Became Hokage just like you and Mom wanted." He touched the stone face. "Wish you could have seen it. Could have met the person I became. I think you'd be proud. I hope so anyway." Sasuke appeared beside him, moving silently. "Talking to yourself?" "Talking to my dad, actually. He's the 4th Hokage, whole complicated thing." Naruto glanced at his former teammate. "You leaving?" "Yeah, got some traveling to do. Things to figure out." Sasuke's expression was complicated. Pain and determination mixed together. "The village elders who ordered the Uchiha massacre are dead, killed during the war. My revenge is complete." "So what now?" "Now I find a new purpose. Figure out what it means to be the last Uchiha." Sasuke smiled slightly. "But I'll be back eventually. Someone needs to keep you from getting too arrogant as Hokage." Naruto laughed. "Looking forward to it, Dadabayo." They clasped hands, not as enemies, not as rivals, but as friends who'd fought together, saved the world together, grown together. "See you around, Naruto. See you, Sasuke." Sasuke vanished, using a teleportation technique, leaving Naruto alone on the monument. He looked across Konoha, seeing lights in windows, smoke from chimneys, people living their lives in peace. This was what he'd fought for. This was what Jiraiya died protecting, and now it was his to safeguard. His spiritual pressure flickered unconsciously, a habit now as natural as breathing. Zangetsu's presence in his soul felt warm, comfortable, like Ichigo's memories had fully integrated with his own. He was Naruto Uzumaki. He was Ichigo Kurosaki's reincarnation. He was the Nine Tails Jinchuriki. He was a soul reaper. He was the 7th Hokage. He was a protector, and he would never stop fighting for the people he loved. Epilogue: 5 years later, Naruto stood in the Hokage office, reviewing paperwork. Village administration was exhausting, more tiring than any battle he'd fought. But it was necessary. Kakashi appeared in the doorway. "Hokage-sama, there's a situation." Naruto looked up, noting his former sensei's serious expression. "What kind of situation?" "Unknown entity approaching the village. Massive spiritual pressure, similar to yours but different. It's not hostile, but it's concerning." Naruto stood immediately, summoning Zangetsu. "Let's go." They found the entity at the village gates, a tall figure wearing black robes with orange hair and brown eyes. The spiritual pressure radiating from him was immense, clearly not human. The figure smiled when he saw Naruto. "Finally, I've been searching across dimensions for you." "Who are you?" Naruto demanded. Zangetsu raised defensively. "My name is Ichigo Kurosaki, Soul Reaper, Hollow, Quincy, human." The figure's smile widened. "And apparently your previous incarnation." Naruto's eyes widened. "What? But you're a memory, part of my soul." "I was, but something happened when you were born. My soul split, part merged with you, part remained in my original world, incomplete." Ichigo stepped forward. "I came to meet you, to see what became of the soul that carries my memories." You're really him? Really, Ichigo?" "Yeah, and you're really me. Or we're both versions of the same soul, separated across dimensions." Ichigo studied Naruto critically. "You've done well with my power, better than I did at your age, mastered the hollow mask faster, developed techniques I never imagined. I had good teachers. Jiraiya, Kakashi, the memories you left me. Those weren't memories I left you. They were part of your soul awakening to its full potential." Ichigo's expression grew serious. "There's a war coming, not in this world, but in mine. I came to ask, will you help?" Naruto looked at his village, at the people he'd sworn to protect. Then he looked at Ichigo, the soul that had given him strength, taught him protection, made him who he was. "Yeah," Naruto said, grinning. "I'll help, but on one condition." "What's that?" "You teach me your final technique, the real Mugetsu, not the version I created from memory." Ichigo laughed, a sound that echoed Naruto's own laugh. "Deal. Let's show both our worlds what two halves of one soul can accomplish together." They clasped hands, two warriors, two protectors, two souls that were fundamentally the same despite being separated by dimensions. The future was uncertain. Challenges would come. Enemies would threaten both worlds. But Naruto Uzumaki, 7th Hokage, Soul Reaper, protector of two dimensions, was ready. He'd faced impossible odds before. He defeated gods, ended wars, saved worlds, and he'd do it again, as many times as necessary, because that was his ninja way. That was Ichigo's way. That was their way, and nothing, not fate, not destiny, not the boundaries between dimensions, would stop them from protecting the people they loved. The story of Naruto Uzumaki, the ninja who carried a Soul Reaper's soul, was far from over. It was only just beginning. The end.
The bridge between Konoha and Karakura town is closed, for now. If this spiritual fusion blew your mind, slice that subscribe button and ring the bell for more legendary what-if theories. Which anime icon should be reincarnated next? Comment below. Thanks for watching, and stay powered up.